print it out for both, whoever can win it, and you put the one on that wins.
There we go. It is round 17. Bendigo footy. Sandhurst and Strathfieldsaye from the QEO. Here's John Hunter.
Well, it'll be Sandhurst that win it from the middle through Noah Walsh. It was a good shark from the tap from Sexton. It moves to half forward, so their first entry here, Curnow. Handballs to Jake McLean. Kicking to the Barnard Street end. He'll put it into a dangerous position, but floating in front of the pack there, taking an uncontested chess mark. It'll be the Storm to clear it from the back half, their back zone. This is Jackson Lay.
So Lay clears the kick across the ground in front of the poolside wings. Flying up over there, unable to take the mark might have been Hosking on the far side. And it's gone out of bounds for a boundary throw in.
Curnow is forward there too. I heard that in the call, John, but they're actually quite small behind the footy Sandhurst today. Curnow forward trying to stretch Strathfieldsaye.
Queen Elizabeth Oval, round 17 is quarter sponsored by Central Kitchens Bendigo. Throw in on the poolside wing. Going through, firing out the handball, there'll be Matt Harvey for the Storm. They work the kick up towards true centre wing position. Sandhurst back there's rough. He couldn't quite take it. Spills off hands. It's hard up against the boundary line. Umpire crosses his arms and says, I'll ball it up. Umpires this afternoon, Jack Anderson, Dave Carter and Marcus Osborne. Doing a terrific job. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
So Hosking doing the ruck work for the Storm this afternoon against Sexton. We're swimming pool side. It'll be another stoppage. It'll be a whistle on play. So doing all the attacking in the first couple of minutes here, the Dragons. Sexton wins the tap, puts it to Tardru, a little soccer ball, but diving in over the top of the footy. It's either dragging it in or over the top. Shannon Geary's going to get a free kick. Shannon Geary now for the Storm. He'll put it to half forward. They'll track the footy towards the boundary line. Good, strong, hard tackling by Wright. Sees it over, or it'll be a ball up. On half forward, Storm in attack. Scores all tied up. We've gone 2 minutes in the opening term. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Up on the far wing, and who would have thought there was a bit of rain earlier here because there's absolutely bathed in sunshine. Hood goes through and got it forward for the Dragons. Working it up the line. Intercepting there will be Caleb Sheehan, but he's taken as he picks up the footy. We'll have another ball up.
Yes, you talk about that, Cam, and the skills of the players at ground level have been great so far in wet conditions.
So Shannon Geary gets it off the contest. He sends it up towards centre half forward. Leading player coming out and taking a strong mark. They'll wheel it up towards the top of the goal square. Getting out the back. Here's a chance for the Storm. Might be a free kick for a bit of front on contact. Malik Gordon, he takes the advantage and puts through the opening goal. There's the start we're after for Strath. Malik Gordon's got one early. And they are 1 straight 6, 2.5 minutes into this first quarter. Score sponsor, Bendigo City Framers. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
We predicted this before the game too. That's a really small forward line from the Storm. That's for Sandhurst as well. That's Isaac Carrick has been on the final line of defence. I don't think Carrick would have played too many games where he's been fullback. But the last line of defence there for him. So that's a good start by the Storm, and certainly structurally going a lot smaller in the forward 50.
Back in the middle we go. One down for the Storm. Matt Harvey's in there. He's taken straight away. Umpire across his arms will have a ball up. Centre of the QEO. Sun is shining. Tarju's handball out wide. Sexton threw a leg at it. Couldn't quite get it. Noah Walsh picked it up. Ran straight into trouble. That was Lachlan Gill who made the tackle. And we'll have another ball up. The ground actually holding up pretty well considering the rain we had pre-game. One down there. That was Hosking that got first hands to it for the Storm. Trying to work it out of there, and Lockie Hood dives on top of it. We'll have a ball up.
Yes, players, when they get their opportunity, have been getting the ball, but the pressure's been great from the opposition, and they haven't been able to get clear disposals.
Tarju feeds the handball out. Didn't quite find its way to its intended target. Going through for the Storm will be Caleb Sheen, who's been prominent early. Nice size about him in the bright yellow boots as well, Caleb Sheehan. Sexton wins it down. Clossy got it for the Storm. Found a kick out of the pack. Got it up towards centre half forward. Turnover. Caleb Connick fired the handball backwards. And going through for the Dragons will be Cooper Smith. They get it wide. It works out okay for the Dragons. They've got it down centre wing. They'll go up towards centre half forward. The kick in the direction of Coughlin. It might have floated out of bounds on the full. It has. Turnover. Blandford will bring the ball back in for the Storm. He'll chip it short and find Caleb Sheehan.
And this is Strath's game. They keep control of the football with precision passing.
So Sheehan chips even further forward and finds its way into the hands of a teammate in the long sleeves there at the QEO. Sun is absolutely shining here. They'll go wide. That comes from Riley Mulquinney. Mulquinney's quick. They're happy to play this far poolside wing. It's Blandford that finds the space. He'll bang it up towards centre half forward. Spills over the back of the pack. No one able to get any clean possession. Eventually it's just banged inside forward 50 by the Storm. A bit of a no-look kick, and the intercept mark will be taken by Jake McLean.
McLean, he's got Wharton breaking for him on halfback. He chooses to go with him. He's got a paddock here to work in. Short pass is effective, hits up Hood. He's on left halfback, broadcast side. Sun shining now here at the QEO. Hood will go down the line and he'll find Maxted. Maxted up the field. He looks further afield and he'll go deep into the pocket now. If Green will be the target. Takes a chest mark. Now he'll wheel and go. From 50 metres out from goal, he sprays it across the face, but he's got a player. Actually, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He probably spotted him up, and there's been a mark taken by Connick, only 25 metres out. Not much of an angle, and he'll line them up for goal.
Yeah, great to see Connick getting in that forward line again. We've seen in recent games when we've had Sandhurst, he works very hard. He helps his backs out, but he also gives his forwards another option.
Caleb Connick now to the Barnard Street end. He's got a little bit of an unusual kicking style, but usually pretty effective. In he comes, he jabbed at it, and dare I say it, did I give a preface there saying he had an unusual style? Makes it a 5-point margin, Sandhurst trail, and 6 minutes gone opening term.
I think it's really interesting to do two different styles here too, fellas. There's fast movement from the Storm.
Oh, Shannon Geary's kicked it in. Sorry to cut you off, Jace, but it's an absolute shocker. Turned over. Handball from Stagg to Tarju. Got it towards the top of the square. Kerno comes charging out. He couldn't quite take it. They're hard up against the boundary line. The Storm will do well to survive this one, but that was an absolute horror kick in. Sorry to cut you off by Shannon Geary.
No, I went a whoop in the middle of the
Free kick
commentary.
Kerno, there's been a bit of a struggle. He was thrown to ground after the ball went out of bounds.
So Kerno's hard up against the boundary line. Voice of Norm Jenkin in the back row on special comments was all over that one. Kerno thought about playing on or trying to chip it to a player in front, but he's going to line him up. He's going to go the banana. He's about 15 metres out, hard up against the boundary line. It starts right, it stays right, and their second score is a minor, and it is 2 behinds playing 1 goal straight 6. Let's see if Shannon Geary's kick-in's any better this time.
Yeah, it'll be interesting today, as you say, Jace, is to see which defence can't keep up with the opposition throughout the game, because they both like to play this possession football.
They do.
Kick-in was okay, found its way to Matt Harvey. Matt Harvey's kick's pretty nice down the centre wing. Oh, floating in from the side, Kobe Maxted. He sharked it. He had no right to take that footy, but it was a terrific grab. Well read by Maxted. He's going to slow things down. Broadcast side wing, which is the grandstand side wing at the QEO. He sends it into the leading player. Coming out and taking a strong mark is Bryce Kerno. He's 30 metres out. Slight angle in line with that left-hand goalpost, but terrific play, Kobe Maxted.
And, of course, Bryce Kerno, ex-Strathstorm player, would love to play his best game of football against a team he played for a number of years ago.
Well, he'll line him up to put Sandhurst in front. 8 minutes into the first quarter, Bryce Kerno comes in. On the right, it's a high ball. It's going to go right to the line when it floats across. Almost went over the top of the goals, but it's 2 behinds now to Kerno. 3 behinds to the Sandhurst Dragons. 1 straight goal. Strathfieldsaye score sponsor JB restumping.
Shannon Geary will bring it in. There's $2 into the bin there, Cam. It's got too many hats on at the moment. As the ball goes to the outer side, it went beyond 50 and it'll be a ball in.
Where's your broad brim hat you usually wear?
Fedora, that's called, Cam.
Fedora.
Yes. So I can give you an education, can't I, before this season's out?
You've been on this earth a lot longer than I have.
This opening quarter sponsored by...
I don't reckon anyone else has wore a fedora since I was ever born.
This quarter sponsored by Rural and Outdoors Castlemaine Central Kitchens Bendigo. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Storm win the ball out of the pack. They bang it up towards through centre wing position, pull side. No clean possession out of there. It's knocked out of there. Tracking back there will be Cooper Smith for Sandhurst. His handball's over the boundary line for a boundary throw in.
There's been a frantic start for both sides. The pressure's been up. There's been plenty of tackling, and as I said earlier, it's hard to get a clean possession.
They'll go up in the ruck now from the ball end. Hosking doing the ruck work for the Storm. But it'll be Sandhurst that clear it now. A hurried kick by Keating of the Dragons. He'll go to half forward. He's got either Kerno to choose from or Maxted, but it's a turnover. It's now Ratcliffe who picked it up there for the Storm. He'll send it to the outer side wing and sliding in after it on his knees. I reckon that might be George Simpson with the footy cam.
Shannon Murphy.
Shannon Murphy. Well, there you go. Fix me up.
So Shannon Murphy gets it, wheels it up towards centre half forward. No mark taken in defence there for the Dragons. It spills to the bottom of the pack. That was Lockie Wright, who looks like he's positioned himself down back in this opening quarter. Ball up right on the paint of 50. 10 metres in from the boundary line on the far side. Knocked forward for the Storm. But it's going to be picked off by the Dragons. They'll work it up towards the towards the wing. Mark is going to be paid to Pelpret. Zach Pelpret, he quickly plays on. Chips the short pass down now. They've got the run. The run will come from Wilkinson. Wilkinson, he took a bounce. It almost didn't come back to him, but he's got plenty of time to recover. Fires the handball over the top. They'll send it inside forward 50 there. And it's going to go right to the top of the goal square. Easy as you like. Joel Wharton in the goal square. Uncontested. Takes the mark. Plays on and goals. And Sandhurst are in front. A little bit too easy the way they moved that ball from defence to forward 50. And Joel Wharton was the beneficiary of that goal. Score sponsor, Bendigo City Framers. The Dragons 139, the Storm 1 straight 6.
That passage of play is more like the Sandhurst that I've come to know throughout this season. That was faster. They used the ball a little bit wider as well and had open connectors with Wharton on the outside. They have gone very slow with their forward 50 entries and trying to use the height that they've got. It's interesting to see if they do change it up now that that's worked better, moving the footy faster.
Back into the middle we go. Umpire will wall it up. Doing the ruck work is Sexton for Sandhurst. He tapped it forward looking for Polprat, who ran onto the footy. They've got numbers here, the Dragons, if they can get it out, but good defensive work by the Storm, namely Lockie Gill doing a bit of hard work in there, and we'll have a ball up halfway between the centre and half forward, kicking to the Barnard Street end. Sandhurst in attack.
Off hands, Coughlin fed out the handball wide. It's sent inside forward 50 from Keating. And mark's been taken hard up against the boundary line.
Maxted.
It's Kobe Maxted. But if there's any player in Bendigo footy who's capable of kicking a goal from here, it's Kobe Maxted. Last time we were at the QER, we saw him drill 2 goals from underneath the scoreboard at the opposite end of the ground. So similar angle to where that would be for anyone that knows the QEO, just in front of the poolside change rooms here. And it is sun shining on a winter's afternoon. A perfect day now for footy. Maxted comes in on the right, goes goalwards, and it floats all the way across the face of the left-hand side, minus score. Dragons 1-4, Storm 1 straight.
Yeah, it took a half the quarter, but the Dragons have now settled and they're making better use of the football when they get hold of it.
Shannon Geary plays on from fullback for the Storm and will bring it to the outer
Good
side.
grab.
Good grab from behind. He was 3 deep, Lockie right for the Dragons, and he just plucked it. Now he looks inboard. He'll go corridor. Curno's by himself at centre half forward and just spotted him up, and that was pretty poor checking, Norm.
Very poor checking there by the Strath defence. They were playing zone, and Curnow just snuck into the hot spot 40 metres out.
He's got a roost on him, Curnow. He'll need to roost it as well. He spins the footy within his hands. Sun shining here. Now he goes short. He's got the corridor open, and it was a poor kick. The idea was there, and he kicked it straight to the opposition and kicked it to Clossy of the Storm.
So Clossy's kicks out of defence wasn't all that great either. It carries over its intended target on the far wing for the Storm. Boundary throw in, 60 metres out from goal.
Yeah, interesting watching Bryce Curnow now. He's up in that forward line and he's telling players where they've got to run, keep on the move, cut through that forward 50.
One down by Hosking. It's work forward. Sologo Sue, the late inclusion, gets it. Sends it up towards centre half forward. Tracking back there will be right for the Dragons. He's happy to see it over the boundary line.
Maryborough lead by 10 points. Imagine if we were with a betting agency to not only Maryborough to get the first or second score, but to get 12 points in total, Cam.
Yeah, well.
Wow.
Well, they have had
two
6 goals in games this year.
2 goals straight, 12 Maryborough lead, Eagle Hawk, 2 behinds.
Wouldn't that be some sort of result? We'll keep an eye on that one, but you'd imagine Eagle Hawk are going to get on top of that one at some stage, surely. Very early stages. Clossy's got the free kick across centre half forward. Sends it out wide. Mark will be taken right on the paint of 50 by Mulquinny, who's in the long sleeves this afternoon. He's got options inside. Mulquinny sends it right to the top of the goal square and didn't quite take the mark, but it was Zach Charles who was down there. It spills off hands. Sandhurst will see it over the boundary line. Good positioning, though, from Charles. Goes over the boundary line underneath the scoreboard, which reads the Dragons 1-4-10, the Storm 1 straight 6.
Yeah, since Shiska's gone down, Charles has gone forward to give Strath a second option up forward.
I don't know what's going on here. South Bendigo are leading by 7 points over Golden Square, and Castlemaine are leading over Gisborne. Blow all the sirens now, and we've got a complete turnaround for the whole card, haven't we? Except
yes.
for probably this game here. Interesting.
That's true.
Maybe there's some pretty tough conditions at other grounds, but the QEO now, the rain has gone. Sun is absolutely shining here. It's on the end of a handball now. It's going to be a shot at goal. The Storm, I reckon it's a minor score, is it?
Yeah, good work by Tananelli.
That was Sologo Sue.
He's just coming to the side this afternoon. So 10 playing 7 points. midway through this opening term, local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
So the first blemish of the day for the Storm. Be a kick in for the Dragons. It'll be brought into play. They'll wheel the kick out of defence. Up towards centre half forward, mark taken. They'll chip it backwards wide. Keating will mark for the Dragons. Scott Carraher out wide if he wants him. Decides to handball off to the short pass, which was Hood, who then chips out and finds Carraher. So Carraher can then chip back into the middle. It's a dangerous looking quick, but it might work out okay for Palprit. Palprit gets it and goes wide. They can open it up on the pull side wing here through Connick. Connick marks. Connick will quickly go inside forward 50.
Good grab.
And, well, is the mark being paid? It has. A terrific grab. And it's been marked 40 metres out. Not too much of an angle to deal with here for Sandhurst.
Wilkinson, I reckon it is.
And it's Matty Wilkinson.
It's a height advantage on the way down the field there too. Sandhurst able to chip the ball and take contested marks. That's a big watch as this game progresses.
So Matt Wilkinson can line up for two in a row for Sandhurst. He comes in on the right, stabbed at it a little bit, but it looks like it's going to float through for a goal. No, he's missed. It's actually flicked the post on the way through. Goal umpire in perfect position to call that one, and they're just wasting some opportunities at the moment, the Dragons. It's 11 playing 7, 1-5 to 1-1.
Featherby brings it in for the Storm. It's a short kick into the back pocket. Harvey with the footy. He'll dump it down the line now, wing, bring it down broadcast side. It was a pretty poor kick. It's either out of bounds on the full or a mark to Ireland of the Dragons. Regardless, it's a turnover. He's on true centre wing. Ireland looking inboard. Short pass, Carraher receives. He's on the wing inboard. He looked to give it off to the left. He had a running free, who was free. Then a kick to Wharton. Wharton by hand, Keating. Keating receives, 70 out from goal. He'll look for Green. It's too heavy for him. Goes over the back. And just around from goal for Sandhurst will have a ball in.
Things are not looking good for Strath at present because Sandhurst's been able to get their running game going.
So it'll be thrown in, hard up against the behind posts. Barnard Street end. Hosking down, trying to fire a handball for the Storm there was Juddy Jackson-Leigh. Try and say that one quick 3 times. Ball up inside forward 50. Kerno doing the ruck. We'll call it a dead heat in the ruck contest. Spills to ground. Mass pack of players around this one. Stagg thought he was taken without it. Eventually the Storm will work it out. They'll send it up towards centre wing. Ireland got it. Ireland taps it forward. Handball out of there. Keating missed its target, but they've got numbers around. Ireland to Carraher. Had his head ripped off by Shan. Well, I think they all stopped, and eventually the umpire went, since you've all stopped, I better call the free kick because it was very late. Carraher, he quickly plays on. Short pass, Ruff. Ruff will switch across the ground to Coughlin, who's got space. In fact, it's actually Harrison Free. Free can emerge with the footy. He'll send it down the line. Just misses Wilkinson, but it bounced nicely for Maxted, who was at the back. Maxted handballs backwards. Wilkinson again. He'll send it inside forward 50. Geary handballs out of there for the Storm, but it's going to come back through Free. Free got it in. Stagg got it. He merged into some space. Stagg chips it to Kerno. Good punch from Ratcliffe from behind. Takes it to ground level, and we'll have a ball up inside forward 50.
This quarter sponsored by Rural and Outdoors Castlemaine, Central Kitchens Bendigo. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. We're camped inside forward 50 for the Dragons. They've been doing most of the attacking. The Storm are under pressure. Kerno doing the ruck work and hits it to his feet and causes another stoppage.
Yes, Sandhurst have been doing most of the attacking, but they haven't got much on the scoreboard to show for it, John.
Kerno somehow slammed it on his boot. It went a little way up the chimney and it was called to play on, and a whistle on play and a free kick. It'll go to Clossy. Deep in the back pocket. Clossy now for the Storm. He'll look to cross. He's a bit nervous. He handballs, he decided against the cross. Short pass. Getting on the end of it there is Riley Mulquinny.
So Mulquinny's got it. Just inside defence for the Storm. Not a lot going on ahead of the ball. He'll decide just to bang it down the pull side wing where a lot of the play's been this afternoon. Flying over the back, Sheehan tried to claim the mark from behind, but it's always going to go to the player standing in front, and that was Carraher. Terrific grab by such a small player sitting in front. Isaac Carraher has got options in the middle of the ground. One of those players is Keating. Decides not to go that way. Looks down the line. He'll send it inside forward 50. Kerno's going to get a fly. Ratcliffe come from behind. Might have just got fingertips to it. It then roves out to Sheehan. That's Caleb Sheehan, who clears the kick out of defence. Up towards Charles. Couldn't take the mark. Comes off hands over the boundary line for a boundary throw in. 60 out from goal.
Isaac Carra has had a fantastic first quarter. Sorry, I struggle to say Carra. Carrots to me. He's had a really, really good first quarter, playing in a very foreign position, but playing some really good footy across half-back, back pocket.
He's not big in stature, but, geez, he gets amongst it when he comes into the side, doesn't he?
Very tough.
He's got some competition out there because they're blessed with talent. And Free, another one blessed with talent, will go inside forward 50 now for the Storm. Wharton defensively did well as a forward there. He's in amongst it at the bottom of the pack, and he's started well as well. And we'll have a stoppage pretty much directly in front, 30 out from goal. Sandhurst attack, and at South Bendigo, Harry Trott, they lead 14-7 against Golden Square.
Maxted's gone into the ruck. It spills out. Lockie Hood gets a flying shot towards goal. Is it marked on the line or has it gone through for a behind? I think the mark's been paid to Fergus Green. Well, I think Hallinan looks like he was convinced it was over the line, but Green has taken it. He'll have to snap from right up against the behind post. We take a very good kick from here, but we see these players, especially ex-AFL, they practice this all the time. Snapping from behind the point post. He wheels around and puts through the goal, a player of his class. Fergus Green slots the second for the Dragons, and it took them a bit of a slog to get there. They've been in control a little bit here. Score sponsor, Parsons Towing, Castlemaine. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. 2-5-17 to the Storm, 1-1-7.
It's the balance of that Sandhurst side, isn't it? We haven't called the big names. The big name Sandhurst midfielders haven't been prominent in the game so far, but they're still been able to move the footy really well and get scoring opportunities. So that's looking dangerous at the minute.
Yeah, Strath have done a good job on Tardru so far. They've kept the pressure on him. He hasn't been able to have any clean possessions. He's had a few knock-ons and a couple of little handballs.
Back in the middle we go. Sexton down. Hood to Tarju. Tarju got some space. Sends it up towards centre-half forward. Didn't quite bounce nicely for Coughlin. Going through for the Storm. It'll be a ball up across centre-half forward. That was Sheehan who hit the ball hard for Strathfieldsaye. Worked out. Sloga Sue went through with the ball, the late inclusion. Sheehan, little toe poke forward, didn't go very far. Lockie Gill, handball to Sue, taken in the tackle by Tarju. Umpires circling. We'll have another ball up, of course, your umpires today. Jack Anderson, Dave Carter and Marcus Osborne doing a terrific job, as always. Storm trying to emerge with the footy. It's a very contested game at the moment, Jace, and the ground, it looks good, but it's still pretty wet underfoot out there, so it is still a bit of a slog for these players.
It is slippery. You can see a bit of double grabbing going on around the contest.
Up they go in the ruck again. Sexton doing all the ruck work, but off half-back, Storm, they've been under pressure all afternoon. Well, when I say all afternoon, it's only been going a quarter, but their forward pressure is pretty good, the Sandhurst Dragons, and it might be I thought it was going to be a free kick, but it was going to be a ball up. Up they'll go in the ruck again. Sexton, he tapped it forward. Stagg tried to make a path and couldn't. 49 out from goal, another stoppage.
Yeah, tackling pressure from both sides has been great in this first quarter, not letting the opposition get a clear tap.
So the Dragons emerge with it. They clear the kick out of the pack. Going through, Blandford couldn't take it. It spilled out to Kerno. Kerno just fires it on the left, and it's hard up against the boundary line. Maxted tracks after it. Can't get there, out of bounds for a boundary throw in right-hand forward pocket. Sun is shining. Barnard straight into the ground. Dragons by 10 points as we approach quarter time. This quarter sponsored by Central Kitchens Bendigo. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. Throw in again. Shallow. Emerging with the ball is Coughlin. Coughlin snapped it towards goal, and Coughlin's put through a beauty. From hard up against the boundary line, Jimmy Coughlin. That's a terrific goal. He gets his first, the Dragons third, and they're just starting to get a little bit of a lead in this contest. Score sponsor, Bendigo City Framers. The Dragons 3-5-23, the Storm 1-1-7.
It's a big reward for tackle pressure, I think, there too. Both sides, Norm called it, both sides tackling really well, but Sandhurst really ferocious in keeping the ball in their forward 50. That's certainly what the coaching staff would be looking at and sort of praising.
That's right, and that's been the difference so far in this quarter, that when Sandhurst get it in their forward 50, they keep it there. Hadn't had reward for it early, but have started to get it now.
Back in the middle they go. Simpson doing the ruck work for the Storm. They'll win it out of the middle here.
Indiscriminate kick.
Indiscriminate kick. All right, let's go with it. Tardru, handball to Free. Free is running free this afternoon. He seems to be doing what he likes. He puts it deep inside forward 50. Off hands for Maxted. Doing defensively well was Featherby. It's a long kick to the outer side, swimming pool side wing. Harvey ran underneath the football. Then he tapped it straight to the opposition Caro. Nearly had his helmet ripped off.
Got a free.
And gets a free. Free. One too high for the lid almost going over the fence.
So Carraher has an option short if he wants it. Decides not to go that way. Goes a little bit further forward, but still out to that far wing. Mark taken on the far wing. Looks like Caleb Connick that emerges with the footy. He'll bang it up towards centre half forward. Getting back in front was Clossy. Thought he'd done enough to claim the mark. He was too worried about claiming that, and they emerge it inside through Hood. Hood's bouncing ball will be tracked over the bound. No, they keep it alive to the Storm. Handball came out to Gill. Gill emerges with it. He sends it down the line. No mark taken. Leading out. Couldn't quite get it there. Spills to the ground. And we'll go over for a boundary throw in. About 80 metres out from goal. The Dragons heading towards the Barnard Street end of the ground.
Interesting there from the Storm's point of view. That's Daniel Clossy actually across half back too. So he's actually playing across half back at the moment.
Sexton doing the ruck. Using his body well this afternoon. He seems to be winning most of the taps. Ball is in dispute. Sue picks it up there for, well, he fumbled it in the end and sees it over the boundary line for the Storm. And they've moved it to the outer side wing. Swimming pool side will have a ball in.
Yeah, he's had a good start to it, Sue, today. Include a late inclusion into the side and had plenty of it in the first quarter.
Throw in. Centre wing, pull side of the QEO. Comes to ground. Going through for the Storm, unable to take it. Comes off hands. Gill then rips it out. No real clean possession. Eventually it's banged out of there. Taken away for the Storm. They'll send the handball
Good tackle,
wide. Good
Curnow.
tackling by Curnow. And he's going to be rewarded. So the free kick for holding the ball goes against Blandford. Curnow gets up and quickly plays on. Sends it inside the Fergus Green direction. Clossy was back there. Handballed off. Now they can clear out of defence the Storm. Cross half back. Mark taken. And that'll be Paddy Blandford.
Blandford now. A little bit quieter than when I've seen him in previous games. Usually gets a lot of the footy, but they've been under siege here, the Storm. Sandhurst doing most of the attacking. The ball comes to the wing. Ruff fell over at the inopportune time. Tracking the footy now. Doing some good work. Sandhurst through Walsh. Carraher received a handball off halfback. His kick is smothered off the boot, but Polpratt hit him in the chest, then bounced off. But he's good enough to give it to Tardru. Dragons, they're just surging forward now. The Dragons, they're working very nicely through Cooper Smith. He'll go into the pocket, but it's a turnover. And the Storm, you just sensed they were just under so much pressure.
So across half back. They send it down that poolside wing, which they've been wanting to do all afternoon. It's come off hands, but it's worked forward there by George Simpson. They just progress forward. They can emerge with the footy now. They'll send it into the middle of the ground. Now Lockie Gill's got speed. Gill emerges with it. Gill's got no one in the goal square from just outside 50. Goes goalwards. It bounces to the left. And it goes through for a minus score, Lockie Gill. So the Storm now 1 goal to 8. Sandhurst 3-5-23. Score sponsor Rule Outdoors Castlemaine.
Played on quickly from fullback. Now Sandhurst, they're not mucking around when they get the footy. On the end of a kick here was Keating now for the Dragons. Poor kick. Turnover. He kicked it straight to Ethan Featherby. Hit him on the chest. On the wing, broadcast side. Left footer. That's a poor kick. Sexton probably dropped a mark he should have taken for the Dragons. He's got support. Tardru. He's got Stagg running sideways and gives him a handball. Then a kick short. 15 metres forward, goes to Maxted. Maxted will go inside forward 50, looking for Green. Uses his body, probably should have marked it. He dropped a pretty easy mark in the end, and deep in the forward pocket, it's going to be a stoppage. Umpire will get involved and we'll have a ball up.
Did everything right but take the mark, didn't he?
He did, and we just mentioned before that Tardru hadn't had a lot of touches. He's had 4 handballs in the last 5 minutes.
Mitchell Hallinan's got the job on Fergus Green this afternoon as Wharton emerges his way through the pack. Sharked by Radcliffe, spills to ground. They dive on top of it. Siren sounds to end the opening quarter and what has been a pretty entertaining quarter, but it's a wasteful Sandhurst. They are 3-5-23 to the Storm. 1 goal to 8. Score sponsor Parsons Towing Castlemaine. That quarter was brought to us by sponsors Rule Outdoors Castlemaine and Central Kitchens Bendigo. We go around the grounds in Bendigo.
the second quarter underway. We are at round 17, the penultimate I can't even get it out. Penultimate round. I'm getting excited, Cam. Here's Cam Power with the powerhouse, where Sandhurst lead 23 to the Storm 8.
In the middle, Jack Anderson, David Carter and Marcus Osborne are your umpires this afternoon. Storm, one forward though, but it's Wilkinson across half-back. Trying to shark it there for the Storm will be Gordon. Dragons work it out to Island. Island to Free. Free couldn't quite get it. Sham went through for Strathfieldsaye, lost possession. They work it forward, but turnover comes to Clossy. Clossy sends it down the line. Carrahurst spilt the mark. Come off hands. Zach Charles is there. They work it wide, the Storm. They'll chip into the pocket through Sue. His kick floats out of bounds on the full. Boundary umpire to come around to get there, but the goal umpire saying yes, it was out of bounds on the full. It'll be a free kick brought back into play for the Dragons.
Penultimate, I reckon I can get it out. Just an old timer just walked past it. Not good for radio, but geez, you see some good people at the football when you haven't seen them for a while, and no different here at the QEO.
Well, who was
which Paul McCulloch, a Wood End guy that I used to work with from many years ago, not a footballer, Cam, so I'll just carry on with the football here. We go inside forward 50. Polpratt sockers it off the ground. Inside forward 50 to the hot spot. Fergus Green picked it up. Did very well. Hannanen was on his hammer. And they need to kill it here, the Storm. Otherwise, they're going to pay the price. And they could have, because Curnow tried a little soccer ball. And if it not for a wet ball, I reckon that would have went in, Jason Stevens.
I think you're right. That's the wet ball just took it and slid away. Kernow's had a lot of those shots already in the contest, hasn't he? Had a lot of sort of flying shots at goal. Just hasn't been able to nail one.
Throw in, inside forward 50. Bendigo City end. One down by Hosking. Putting his head over the footy and going through and being collected high by Nick Stagg was Darcy Mulquinny, who 10 minutes ago you might have said, why is he wearing the long sleeve? But now all of a sudden you can understand why. Mulquinny sends it wide. Going the punch instead of the mark was Lockie Wright. Worked out to Tarju. Geary then come through and knocked it forward to Sue. Sue then knocked it forward. A little bit volleyball style there. Shannon Geary, he picked it up. He says, I'll pick it up and send it towards centre half forward. Strathfieldsaye player being held. Free kick paid. Charles trying to come through and take the quick ball advantage. Umpire says, I'm having none of that. It's going to be in the hands for the Storm. They look to send it inside forward 50. Got a number 30 out there for the Storm, and they send it into the pocket, and the mark's been taken by Zach Charles.
Yes, and as I said earlier, Zach Charles has gone from down back up forward since Siska went down a couple of weeks back, and he's been a target. And Strath, they've started this second quarter well after dying in the second half of the first quarter.
Did play a lot of footy as a junior through the midfield and forward as well. So Chang is the nickname for Zach Charles. So usually a good kick of the footy.
So Charles comes in on the right, goes goalwards, and he's put it through. Good kick in these conditions for Zach Charles. And the Sandhurst Dragons, they concede a goal early in the first, as they did in the second. It's the Strathfieldsaye Storm. Score sponsor JB Reese stumping. Here at the QEO, it is raining. The Storm 2-2-14, Sandhurst 3-5-23.
And interesting, Jace, you said pre-game about Shannon Geary and loving these conditions. That was a lovely pick-up on the run, one-handed, and great delivery forward.
Beautiful clean kick, wasn't it, to half forward, which results in the score.
Back into the middle. Tough conditions now. We've gone from rain to sunshine to rain again. Hosking taps it for the Storm. Tried to put it down the throat of Gill. Didn't succeed. Hurried kick out of the pack, though. This is effective by the Storm. It kicks to space on left half forward. Broadcast side to the Barnard Street end. One-handed pick up by Sue with a wet ball. Gave it by hand to Mulquinny. He fumbled. It's really slippery. Hurried kick now by Wilkinson. And they're all diving in after the football. Boundary line wins and we'll have a ball in.
There's going to be a lot of that sort of football for the rest of the day, I think. Now we've had that shower of rain. It's going to be in and under, in packs, and it'll be a matter of who can get it on the outside and move it with clear disposal.
So we'll get a throw in right in front of the Strathfieldsaye coaches watching on. Luke Freeman, of course, down there. Wilkinson was taken in a strong tackle by Clossy. Umpire Carter crosses his arms and says, I'll have it. We'll have a ball up. Balls it up. Hosking goes through and knocks it forward. Handball out wide, but Wilkinson was there for Sandhurst. Sends it up the line. Geary tracked back. Maxted overran the footy. Eventually it's just banged off the ground by Palprat, but it's all the Storm back there. They can steady themselves. Featherby, he'll send a kick hard up against the boundary line. Mark taken by Gordon. Then Gordon will work the kick up towards the wing, but sliding over was Sheehan. Probably not the type of weather to be playing that fast ball movement. Ireland bounced off one tackle, tried to bounce the second. Sheehan got him, and he gets himself a reprieve. It's holding the ball. Free kick, Abe Sheehan, 60 out from goal. Has got an option of Lockie Gill in the pocket if he wants it. Decides to go longer, but it's a kick that doesn't really favour anyone. It spills to ground. Unable to take the clean possession, though. It spills out wide. Sheehan's followed up his own work here. He's taken by Hood, and he's pinned, holding the ball. Free kick, Lockie Hood.
It's an interesting period of the game here. It feels like there's a little bit of momentum with the Storm at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see how Sandhurst responds.
Hood fires it wide. Now they work it up towards centre wing, poolside in the hands of Noah Walsh. Hasn't accumulated as much of the footy as what we're used to, but he's only 2 games back into this Sandhurst side. Got some space. Worked it up towards Maxted, who's 55 from home. He'll send it into the hot spot for Fergus Green. It carries over the back. Almost got to Kerno, but the Storm defence playing in front. Eventually it's banged out of there by Shannon Murphy. Sheehan tracked after it. Saloga Sue got it, but he's got absolutely no one supporting him. He did well to soccer it forward.
No, indiscriminate kick.
Wow, there's that free kick. And it's going to go to Harrison Free, but he looks absolutely exhausted, Jace.
He does, doesn't he?
Just looks like he's got absolutely nothing left to give. He's coming straight to the bench. Kick inside forward 50. Off hands by Green. It spills out to Hallinan. Hallinan just bangs it out of there. They go down the poolside wing and then just hacking it forward off the ground for the Storm. They couldn't quite take any clean possession. I guarantee if we were playing AFL, you're getting pinned for a incorrect, what do they call that? Incorrect out of bounds? Insufficient intent is what the word I'm looking
Deliberate
for.
out of bounds, yep.
Yeah.
Yes, it's interesting because in our day you'd boot the ball, Jace, when it was on the ground, and so long as your boot didn't swing in the air, it was all right. But nowadays, anywhere near the body, and all of a sudden it's a free kick.
So throw in. Off hands. Dragons out to Tarju. Tarju emerges with space. He then chips down the line. Mark taken. They wheel the handball forward onto the run of Stagg. Inside forward 50 looking for Max Steady. Hold his ground. It goes to the ground. Him and Shannon Geary go at each other hard. A fair bump. That was a good collision just inside forward 50. Both players side on.
Nice noise came with that one.
It
Nice
was.
little
You could
contest.
hear the contact from up here in the broadcast box.
Up they go in the ruck now.
You're back.
I'm back. I just snuck up behind you there, Cam. I know, a little bit weird, but we'll get over it. As Jake McLean wins it for Sandhurst. Puts it inside forward 50. Joel Wharton, a hurried little handball with a wet footy, so it goes off the side of his fist. Ratcliffe picks it up for the Storm, then sends it to the outer side. It's our broadcast side. No one home except for Rough of the Dragons. By hand gives it to Free. Free now, short pass. Just he's asking a lot of Kerno with that footy. It caused a turnover. On the end of a handball for the Storm was Featherby. And we've got turnovers going left, right and centre now as Tanner Nelly marks it on the wing for the Dragons and he'll send it forward.
Yeah, seems to be a bit of game of territory at the moment. Talonelli's kicks an absolute beauty and he found Lockie Hood in space. Hood marks at 55 from home. He's got Noah Walsh short. Not sure it's going to be a 15-metre pass, Noah, but he's still screaming for it. Eventually he tracks back a little bit further. Hood then chips into the lead. It's a good-looking kick, but it was well read by Shannon Geary, who got in front of the leading player out in green. He takes the mark, quickly wheels it across the ground and goes wide. Island goes up, drops the mark, and now that might allow the Storm to be out. Gill handballs over the top. They can run it forward here through Sheehan. He goes back to Gill, and Gill chips into the middle of the ground. Going through will be Matt Harvey. He couldn't quite take it cleanly, but he was able to then pick up the ball, socket it forward, intercept. Dragons work it back up towards centre half forward. Maxted comes leading out. He wasn't quite clean. Overran the footy, and the Dragons might get out of trouble. Murphy goes out to Sheehan. Sheehan will get a reprieve because he was collected high by Maxted. He's gone down as well. Completely incidental, but definitely collected him high. Sheehan quickly handballs off to Geary. They go back to Sheehan. They're just messing around with it here, the Storm, to Ratcliffe. He just says, righto, I'll kick it out of there. That he does. Rough the target. Coming through hard and flying through was Charles. Couldn't quite get it. They work it in the middle of the ground. Storm have got numbers here, though. They'll send it back inside from Blandford. Blandford's kick just didn't quite find its target. It clears out the back. Ireland will track back for the Dragons.
He'll pick it up. He hasn't got a lot of pressure on. And go figure, he kicks it out of bounds on the full. He was a little bit laconic in the back zone, but he had plenty of time. And what happened?
Yeah,
that was Island, not Connick.
It's often the case on a wet day, John, if you're not concentrating fully.
So Blandford of the Storm. He'll go long. They'll set themselves. Malik Gordon had a lot of it. Couldn't quite win the footy. It spills to the back here. Keating amongst it there for the Dragons. They'll move it out nicely. They won the footy, but kicked it straight to Shannon Geary, the Storm. Quickly bangs it on the boot, and he had two lining up. Harvey was in front position and took a nice mark. Well, it was uncontested, directly in front of his eyes. Wet footy, but he'll line him up for goal.
Said about 5 minutes ago, I felt there was a bit of momentum for the Storm, and it certainly feels that way still now. Sandhurst had the ball down their end, but were unable to score. And if Storm can score here, they're well and truly back in the contest.
Yeah, Storm have done well in the first 6 minutes of this quarter. They've been able to take control of the game and play it under their terms.
Doesn't mind a goal, Matt Harvey. Quarter time in the North Central. Are we into finals at North Central?
No, last round.
Donald 4-1 to Wedderburn 3-3, so close contest there. Probably tough conditions as well. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Matt Harvey now. Barnard Street end on a wet, slippery footy. It's straight, but I don't reckon it's got the legs. It hasn't. Comes off hands, and it's a minor score. Storm 2-3-15. Trail Sandhurst 3-5-23. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Yeah, Storm have controlled this quarter so far, but they need to start putting some scoreboard pressure on the Sandhurst side.
First time I've ever heard the QEO referred to as the ranch as the Dragons bring the ball in. It'll be marked by Noah Walsh just inside
the home
defensive
ground, the
50.
ranch, you know.
Yeah.
So more like the den, I think they call it here at the QEO when Sandhurst are playing here. He chips down the line and finds Lockie Wright. So Lockie Wright, Pelprat led forward, didn't quite go in that direction again. He puts a little bit of a task for Maxted, but it was a nice kick in the end. Maxted found it on his chest. Centre wing. Shannon Geary mans the mark. That kick had to be centimetre perfect, and it was. So Maxted gets it, goes in the Curnow direction. Storm get in front. They knock the ball to ground. Going through Clossy. Handball to Featherby. Featherby, that was a cute kick out of there. Just carried over the top, and Maxted will take it over the boundary line by Geary. It will have a ball up.
He's had a good quarter, Shannon Geary.
Yes, experience in these conditions and experience in general, Jace, show it coming to the fore.
Obviously, haven't watched any old Western movies, Cam, has he?
No.
Meanwhile,
he
back
hasn't.
at the ranch. That's an old saying, Cam. We've got to probably get into the year 2000 to get you involved in some of these conversations we're having. As we've got another, well, it's a free kick.
I don't know what the ranch has relevance to the QEO.
Well, it's just a saying, meanwhile, back at the ranch.
It's a nice source, Cam.
Yeah, yeah. When you've got to start explaining things, it's probably not worth going there. As Joel Wharton's 70 out from goal. On the left, to the hot spot. Curnow uses his body.
It's a
free kick.
Positioned his body well then in Bryce Curnow. He got in front of the Strath opponent who had to reach around him and over the shoulder, and Curnow got the free. Umpire was there, perfect position.
It was George Simpson who's done a little bit of ruck work. It was one-on-one contest. I know it's there, but I hate it when the forwards get the benefit of the doubt, Jace.
I do too.
Particularly in Melbourne, you see, all you do is got to sneeze on them and then they get a free kick. Curnow bangs it through for a goal for their fourth of the afternoon. They'll go to 4-5-29, leading Storm 2-3-15. We're midway through this second term. Score sponsored Don Smallgoods. Don is good. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Norm's right. The body work was fantastic by Bryce, but at the same time, I think he made sure the umpire saw.
Oh, he did make sure, but the umpire was in perfect position to see. And, that's a body blow to Strath. They've had control of the football for the first 13 minutes of this second quarter, and they've only been able to score one goal out of all their possession. Sandhurst go forward for the second time in the quarter and kick a goal.
Back in the middle we go. Second quarter here at the QEO, sponsored by Rule Outdoors Castlemaine and Central Kitchens in Bendigo. Ball going down. The Storm will send it inside forward 50 from Matt Harvey. Big punch off defence. It's then turned over and thumped back in there by Sheehan. It goes right to the top of the square. Salou down there couldn't quite take it. Carraher across half back. He clears the ball out of defence, but it's going to be coming back. Blandford was tackled by Connick, but he was able to quickly get the handball out to Carson James. James fires the handball out. Now the Storm sends it inside forward 50, and Sue gets up and takes the mark 15 metres out, almost directly in front. That's a terrific grab by young Silage Sue.
Yes, he had a great look at that. He was able to watch from about 4 back, and he judged the jump nicely and took it actually out of his teammate's hands. So it was probably going to be a mark to Strath whichever way.
A lot of excitement around this Sue. He's having a terrific game so far for the Storm. The late inclusion, he might have nearly earned himself a spot in the side next week the way he's playing. And right as you say,
no, he's got to kick a bit better, Cam.
Ordinary one. It goes across the face for a minor score. Right-hand side, 29 playing 16.
He didn't kick through the football. He leant back, and, of course, that meant it went to the right.
The kicking came from the Dragons very quickly to the outer side. Cam, if I said a boy named Sue, that you probably wouldn't understand what I was talking about then either, would you?
It's a song, isn't it?
Well, there you go. As
Or was
the
it
ball,
a movie?
No, oh, well, probably both, but I'm impressed you even knew that. As the ball is on the outer side wing, it's swimming pool side. Rain has stopped, and it's pretty damp here, Jason.
It is, and it's impacting the contest too.
And it is, as the boundary umpire throws the ball in and the ruckman just knock it straight back to him and say, have another go.
I was just going to say before too, Sue's shot at goal, it's amazing how the energy levels go up when you have that shot at goal and the jump at the footy. Completely exhausted coming off the ground 2 minutes beforehand.
Yeah, that's true.
And then energy levels as high as they could get.
It's a game of momentum. Gill picked it up cleanly, then accelerated away. Then he tried to flick it to himself, whether or not he meant it or not. He's going to get a free kick because he was being held.
Yeah, nice work by Gill there. Just handballed the ball in front of himself and never picked it up again and got tackled.
So Gill, short pass, Clossy, juggling, but he's able to mark it on his chest. He's dead smack in the middle of the QEO. If you threw a dart and it landed in that spot, it would be a bullseye. As he sends it inside forward 50. Trying to get the fly against Sue, come from behind, couldn't quite take it, spills to ground. No one able to really find a way through. Lurking in there is James for the Storm. Umpire across his arms and says, I'll ball it up.
Down to the graveyard, Gisborne lead by 16 points over Castlemaine. Castlemaine need to win an upset either against Gisborne this afternoon or Sandhurst next week. So they're up against it to play finals, you would think, as it's a hurried kick. Now the Storm will release off half-back. It comes to the wing. One-on-one contest. Umpires letting it go. Murphy getting involved there for the Storm. We're all tied up and we'll have a ball up smack bang in the middle.
Throwing my arms around here too. That's exactly the same as what happened with Curnow before, but that's a defender who doesn't get paid the free kick.
That's right.
Frustrating.
Up they'll go in the ruck now. Hosking wins the tap. Coughlin, who's been quiet this afternoon for the Dragons, puts an ugly short little ball to half forward. Shannon Geary, he tapped it straight to the opposition, the Dragons. Paul Pritt on the left, puts it to the hot spot. Curnow, a clever little tap to advantage for Stagg. He can't bend over, he slipped over, but he managed to get a fingertip to it to Green. Green has a shot at goal, and it was just touched on the goal line for a minor score. So 30 playing 16, Sandhurst lead, 17 minutes gone. Second term, local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. This second term sponsored by Rural and Outdoors Castlemaine and Central Kitchens Bendigo. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Featherby plays on, chips it short into the pocket. Shannon Geary underneath the scoreboard. 17 minutes gone in the second quarter. 30 playing 16. Still right in this contest to the Strathfieldsaye Storm, especially on the scoreboard. It only reads 14 points, but it has been probably a game you feel like Sandhurst have been right on top of as his kick goes down the line off hands for a boundary throw in, 70 out from goal.
A couple of little other frights that were brewing have just dissipated.
Well, the Golden Square one certainly did, John.
Yeah, 47 playing 16, and Maryborough trail, they haven't moved off 14, they trail Eagle Hawk 31. Hosking wins the tap now for the Storm on the outer side wing. Turnover though, Paul Pratt, little handball to Hood. Hood manages to slam it on the boot quickly to the hot spot. They've got Curnow lurking, threw his boot on the left and put it through for a
indiscriminate kick.
As in kicking, the old kicking in danger norms.
Yep, the old kicking in danger, yep.
Been a few of those paid this afternoon. Ethan Featherby is the receiver.
I mean, they instigate that rule way out of control because it was brought in for the person that slid under the kicker, not for the kicker that just tries to toe poke it.
Down. Maxted gets it. They send it up forward through Stagg. It dribbles out of bounds for a boundary throw in.
I have no problem with them calling kicking in danger if someone's got their hands on the football.
I agree.
A couple of times, there's probably been 6 paid today, and there would have been
only one with hands
occasions.
on. Yep.
Yeah, maximum with the hands have been on the footy.
Yep.
So throw in, forward pocket underneath the scoreboard. 30 playing 16. Next goal in this contest becomes pretty huge, I think. Clossy went through for the Storm, handballed it forward. They soccer it into the middle of the ground. It came to Sheehan. Sheehan picked it up, but he was tackled straight away by Carrahurt. Turnover. Now they receive. They'll send it inside forward. 50 Dragons. Maxted going back. Couldn't quite take it. Spills to the back. Shannon Geary. Handball to Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe's kick out of defence, but he puts it to a 4-on-1. And going through, couldn't quite take it cleanly, but it was well played by Charles. Knocked forward. Off hands. Malquini. Spilling to ground level. It spills out for the Dragons. Keating emerges with it. He'll chip into the lead. Curnow's going to come and get the fly at it. Couldn't take it. Spills to the back of the pack. Green's in pursuit of it. He's able to handball back into play. Hallinan up against Curnow. Bounced okay for Hallinan. Just lurking around inside forward 50 though, just looking dangerous every time he goes near the ball, Bryce Curnow, but it hasn't quite come off for him yet. This time we'll get a ball up underneath the scoreboard, which reads Sandhurst 4-6-30, the Storm 2-4-16 as we hit red time in the second quarter.
Umpire will throw it up. Sandhurst doing all the attacking here. They lead by 14 points. Hurried kick out of the pack. Might have come from right. Went across the face of goal. It'll be a penalty-free kick for out of bounds on the full.
Yes, the one thing Storm have done well today is they've made Maxted go right up the ground to get his kicks. He's had nothing within kicking distance that he's been able to grab hold of.
Shannon Geary, probably been one of the Storm's best this afternoon. Chips across to Lockie Gill. Gill's kick was put a little bit of pressure under Ratcliffe, but he was able to take the mark, because if he didn't, I think it was Jack Keating. It was charging at him, ready to knock that one out of his hands. Forced to go backwards to Hallinan. Hallinan marks in the goal square at defence. Wilkinson comes up to man the mark. Holds it. Eventually he'll play on and then he'll kick it out there on the left, but it's going to fall short of its intended target. Marked by Noah Walsh. Not paid. Spills to ground level. Thought he had enough of it. Coming out, sliding through there was Jake McLean. Hits the ground. What happened with there? I looked further forward to see where he was going to kick it, and then the mark wasn't paid.
Well, he got one grab to it, Cam, and then it fell in front of him on the ground. One grab, even on a wet day, is not good enough.
50 metres out from goal for Sandhurst. Hurried kick attempt by Sheen. It was a fresh air, which brings Coughlin into the contest for the Dragons. He'll kick it in the direction of Curnow, who he's lurking this afternoon. It's probably unfortunate. It's a wet ball, high tackle, and a free kick's going to go to Sandhurst. At the bottom of the pack
Maxted
is Kobe Maxted. And if it wasn't for the wet... Well, you usually kick it if it wasn't for the wet weather, but we've seen a few errors here, Jason, because of that slippery ball.
I'm with Cam here. I don't think this one will be a problem. He's a beautiful kick of the footy, but we'll see if we can put a commentary curse on him, and it's happened before.
Maxted. I think one of the tricks is not try to kick it too hard from that distance with the wet footy as well, even though you still got to kick through it. 4-6-30, Sandhurst. They lead Strathfieldsaye 2-4-16. Kobe Maxted, slow and deliberate. What a great player he's been for the Dragons over a long period of time now. He only takes 3 or 4 steps. It spins beautifully, but slams straight into the point post for a minor score, which will take Sandhurst to 31, Storm 16. 22 minutes gone. Second term, local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. The second term sponsored by Central Kitchens in Bendigo. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
But I don't think any players are going to want you commentating on their shots at goal, Cam.
No, I think I needed one of those pens with the eraser on the end of it there. I'd already penciled that one in. That's how confident I was. Geary plays on out of defence, sends it up the true centre wing position. Mark taken for Strathfieldsaye by Blandford. He'll wheel the ball down the poolside wing. A lot of the games have been played down that far wing today. Turnover. Going through for the Dragons. They send it forward, but it's Sheehan gets back there for the Storm. Chip into the middle to Geary. Geary to Featherby. Now they've got some time to try and build this play up. Featherby will work it up towards centre half forward. No mark taken by Sheehan. It spills out the back. That's Abe Sheehan at the back of the pack. It was Harry Sheehan that was there to take it. A couple of Sheehans. And in the result is a minor score to Abe, 2-5-17. 4-7-31 the Dragons, 23 gone, second quarter.
Yes, that's better football by the Storm then. They took control of that ball as it went forward.
Free kicks it out from full-back after playing on. Fergus Green playing right up. In fact, it's Wilkinson playing up the ground. He flew like Green then, but he didn't kick like Green. It was a poor one. Turn over to Murphy of the Storm. He'll go back inside forward 50. Defensive punch. Dragons did well, but Sue was on the end of it, and he laconically sees it over the boundary line. 49 out from goal. Storm in attack.
Not sure why Tanelli punched that. It was going to land on the chest of Lockie Wright.
It was a beautiful fist, but his teammate was right there, wasn't he?
Yeah. I think Lockie Wright had that one. He basically was penciled in that mark on his chest, and then he just flew in front of him.
You need to communicate, don't you? You should have been calling him in.
Especially on a wet day, Jace.
Yep. They're things that just frustrate you as a coach when little things like that happen, as the Storm will try and send it back inside forward 50. Matt Harvey off the side of the boot. Coughlin marked it, quickly played on, handballed off to Wharton. That's Joel Wharton, of course. Alex Wharton was playing in the game earlier this afternoon. It's worked out Hallinan. Hallinan went over the top. Radcliffe couldn't quite find it cleanly. He's pounced upon in the tackle, and we'll have a ball up. Crowd's starting to get involved in this one as well. Probably a little bit bigger crowd than what we're thinking here, looking at the queue. If we could see the grandstand, I reckon it'd be relatively packed, Jace.
Yeah, I think so. It sounds like there's a bit of noise going around, so it's and it's pretty chippy out there in the contest actually too.
Clossey's going to get a free kick because he was taken out off the ball by Palprat, so it'll come back to Clossey across half back for the Storm.
Half-time in the qualifying final in Heathcote District Football Netball League. Leachville, 5-4-34, lead North Bendigo 3-2-20. Here at the QEO, Caleb Sheen's got the footy for the Storm. He'll spread it wide. Hits up Gill. Gill now too far out to score, one would think. Short pass forward. He's got a lead on there, which he's honoured. It was a good, strong, hard lead. So Storm are going to get another look at goal here, really close to half-time. It's Matt Harvey that's marked the footy on the chest, and he'll line them up.
Yeah, so it was good work by Storm then. It was either Harvey or Malik Gordon could have taken that chest mark, and Harvey's taken it. Storm need this one to stay in this contest.
He's had a couple of looks this afternoon already, Matt Harvey. It's just probably that awkward distance with the wet footy. The sun has come out near here at the queue. They're standing on the goal line waiting for him to kick it. He goes long and high and kicks a goal. The umpire puts the two fingers up. So they tighten up the margin here at the QEO. Storm 3-5-23. Trail 4-7-31. We're almost at half-time here. Score sponsors, Parsons Towing in Castlemaine. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
It's a hard contest to get a read on here. There's it's 7 points, 8 points in the contest, but it's it still feels like Strathfieldsaye are thereabouts and can win this contest. And the Sandhurst midfield seems to be getting squashed a little bit by the Storm midfield. So really tight moment of the game.
Oh, we saw when Golden Square ran over the top of Sandhurst in the second half here a couple of weeks ago. They really got the job done in the midfield that day. Sandhurst have won the clearance, so they look to respond. It's Palprat at centre half forward, taken out, no free kick. Handball came out to McLean. Now they spill it out. The Storm have done well. They get it out the back. Sheehan, that's Harry, bangs it high down the line in the direction of Charles. Not taken, spills off hands, out of bounds, boundary throw in.
Cross half forward now, Barnard Street end, Storm in attack again. Can they pinch another one here close to half time? Boy, wouldn't that put another context onto the game. It's tightened right up here. 8-point margin. The ball is thrown in.
It's actually
Whistle.
Caleb Sheehan, Harry Sheehan plays for Castlemaine, sorry.
He does. It's going to be a free kick to the Storm here. Little give handball to Harvey. Harvey for the Storm puts it into the pocket. Now you sense that Sandhurst are under a little scoreboard pressure. Jake McLean with a footy for the Dragons. He sends it to the wing looking for Matt Wilkinson. Whistle on play. It will be a Storm free kick for 1-2 high. And the man with the footy is Hugh Behrens.
Behrens, yep. Yes, first touch for the day. And he's unfortunately too far out.
Well, he might have played on anyway, I think, if he was going to have an attempt at a 95-metre barrel. There's a little bit going on off the ball here. Just in the forward line, a little bit of tempers flaring,
yes, there's a Sandhurst player down behind play.
Strathfieldsaye player has got taken to ground as well.
This has been brewing for a while.
And now it's on again. There's a couple of different spot fires going on here.
And Lockie Wright's involved, along with Zach Charles.
Benches have unloaded as well. This is interesting.
Yes.
Well, we'll keep an eye on it and see what's going on, because I think the coaches would be keen just to get them back to their rooms. As it kind of fizzles out here at the QEO. It's half-time. Nothing majorly doing out of that one by the looks. It's the Dragons 4-7-31, the Storm 3-5-23. The goal kickers in this one to half-time, all singles. It's Joel Wharton, Fergus Green, James Coughlin and Bryce Curnow. Why for Strathfieldsaye, Matt Harvey, Malik Gordon and Zach Charles. It has been an entertaining game, I reckon, though. Who do you think would be the better of the two coaches at half-time? I'm not sure that Ash Connick would be actually all that impressed with what he saw in that first half.
Matt Harvey, he started to provide a little bit of target up forward, a couple of good, strong, hard leads. He hasn't had a lot of the footy, but he's at least giving them something. Let's get this second half underway. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. Here's the powerhouse Cam Power.
At the footy, it's banged forward for Strathfieldsaye by Blandford. Blandford's kick will be intercepted by Liam Ireland across half-back. Ireland will then clear the kick right-hand side down the poolside wing, which has been the theme this afternoon, but his kick's turned over. It'll go straight back to Blandford. Blandford into the middle of the ground. Kick's good. Finds Geary in the centre of the QEO. Geary's got runners wide if he wants it. Got Sheehan loose if he wants to go there. Decides to go further and long. Send it in the Gordon direction. He got a flight at Malik Gordon, but he might have given away a free kick for a push. and it's going to be a free kick to Ireland for the Dragons.
Looked like a good old-fashioned corky to me, Jason, right in the
sore,
buttocks.
Ireland.
So we've got a whistle on play. The ball went in the direction of Curnow. He's given away a hold, a free kick to Caleb Sheen of the Storm, who's standing on right half forward, kicking to the city end.
So Sheehan, 55 out from goal, sends it into the hot spot. They need someone to fly. Off hands, it's just thumped towards Sheehan. Sheehan, that's Abe Sheehan. Handball's off. It's going to be a flying shot by Malik Gordon on the right boot. He snaps the goal. Fast start Storm. Malik Gordon kicked the first goal in the first quarter, and he's now got the first goal of the second half, and the Storm get the big goal, and it brings it back to a very, very close margin here. Score sponsor, Don Smalls Goods. Don is good. 2-point margin, 4-7-31. Storm 4-5-29. A minute and a half gone, third quarter. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
No, I'm interested in your take on this, but to me it looks like the Strathfieldsaye Storm have got under the skin of Sandhurst here a little bit. It's pretty chirpy and pretty push and shove a little bit.
There is, and Storm have been known to do that over games, but an excellent handball there by Abe Sheehan. As soon as he got hold of the ball, it was into Malik's hands in a flash.
Hosking wins the tap for the Storm and puts it to half forward. Tardrew's been pretty quiet this afternoon, dropped a footy that was pretty hot. So they'll play on quickly, the Storm here. Advantage is given. Malik Gordon's the target. He collects it just in the forward pocket. Strong tackling by right of Sandhurst. Causes a turnover. Tardrew again gives a handball under pressure. And he's just not on his game, Jason Stevens, this afternoon. I don't sense anyway.
He's very quiet, been very quiet all day. Pretty talented handball there by Malik Gordon too, with one hand held. Still got the handball away. That was it was really talented.
I feel like we're judging him a little bit harshly though, Tardew, because of the standards that he does set. He's still having an impact on the game. It's just not up to his usual lofty standards, which are very high. As the Dragons work the ball into the middle of the ground, but it's turned over in the hands of Mulquinny. Mulquinny's handball missed its target. Dragons emerge with it through Walsh. Walsh gets it wide. They bang it forward. It's going to be leading back. No, it was Connick. It's picked up by Maxted, who's taken. Ball dropped out. Ratcliffe screaming that it should have been a free kick. It comes out to Stagg. Stagg goes goalwards right to the line. I think he's put it through. Was it touched on the line? It wasn't. Storm player's gone down behind the play, and the goal's been kicked by Nick Stagg.
Yeah, something out of nothing there for Sandhurst. Got the ball in their forward line, first time this quarter, and Stagg made no mistake. But I do agree with the Strath players there that Maxted should have been penalised because he didn't get boot to ball when he attempted.
Dragons 5-7-37, the Storm 4-5-29. Third quarter score sponsor, Bendigo City Framers. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
That'll be Sexton doing the ruck work. There's $3 in. $4 are we up to? Doing the ruck work, but it ended up with Hood. Hood now, the Dragons will spend it to half forward. But a good strong intercepting mark across half back. The player with the footy was Jackson Lay. Puts it to the broadcast side wing. Turnover. Connick. Hood, Paul Pratt, 3 handballs in a row. Paul Pratt kicks it to half forward. But a free kicker remark. Not sure who's going to give it to.
Well, it's Jackson Lay.
It's Jackson Lay. I thought
Morton was just doing the professional thing and holding up the ball for as long as he could to make it look like he didn't know where the free kick was going.
The old sucker job. So it's a long kick now. Storm to half forward. Connick, good strong mark. Just floated in front of the pack, and he'll send it back the other way.
Connick quickly bangs it forward on his right, goes in the Maxted direction, but well read by Featherby. And he could have gone on the mark, I reckon, there, Jace, but he decided to double punch it over the boundary line for a boundary throw in right in front of the Strathfieldsaye coach's bench. Luke Freeman watching on.
It's got to be voice around that contest, though, too, isn't it? If you don't know, if you're out in the field, if you don't know what's around, you can't comfortably go that mark.
There's been a few times that the Storm have been like that. They've had chances for something or 2 players jumping in front of each other. Off hands, hits the ground level, appeals for the crowd for ball not giving. We'll have another ball up. Umpires today, Jack Anderson, David Carter and Marcus Osborne. Paul Pratt's little kick was smothered. Storm trying to merge through Clossy. Clossy gave off the handball to a teammate who just banged a high ball. Ireland urged under it. No free kick doing.
Oh, good.
Dragons emerge with it, though, through Cooper Smith. Smith gets it, wheels it inside centre half forward. Maxted got in front to lay a last-minute punch. It came out to Wharton. Wharton handballs off to Walsh. Walsh has time to steady. Walsh has time to drill the goal, and he does just that from 40 metres out. Noah Walsh puts through the goal, and the Dragons get 2 goals responding after the Storm got it back to 2 points. Score sponsor Jason Westcott, builder, local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo, 6-7-43, the Storm 4-5-29.
And that all came from an excellent one-handed pick-up on the run from Cooper Smith. Controlled the wet ball beautifully because just looking out there, I noticed there's a little bit of drizzle at present, just starting again, and good work from there. Excellent kicks and handballs into the forward line, and it was great to see Noah Walsh finish perfectly.
Sandhurst have settled kicking to the Barnard Street end, and in this third term, Hosking used his body well for the Storm, but tapped it straight down the throat of Walsh. Walsh to Cooper Smith, goes to Keating, across half back. Harrison Free receives. Handball forward again to Smith. Smith to the outer side. Paul Pratt inboard, goes and finds big. It was looked like Connick with the footy. In fact, it was Coughlin getting involved as well. Across half forward now they move it, and it goes into the pocket. A good, strong, hard lead. A mark's been taken by Matty Wilkinson.
Yeah, lovely kick by Jake McLean there. Put it out in front and let Wilkinson run onto it.
Wilkinson, he's got to have to contend with a little bit of rain that's just started to fall lightly. Pretty tough conditions here. Big rainbow across Bendigo City. But it's not windy, which...
Where?
Bendigo City to your right there, Cam. That's good
is.
radio. As he's kicked a goal, meanwhile... And that was a pretty good kick from there. That was 40 metres out from goal with a wet, slippery ball. So increasing the lead here, Sandhurst have maintained their composure. They go to 7-7-49. 4-4-29 score sponsors. JB re-stumping. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
We asked for a bit of a lift from the Sandhurst midfielders at half-time, and Noah Walsh is certainly providing that lift. He seems like he's been half forward a little bit today, a little bit more often than what I'm used to, but certainly in the middle now he's starting to get his hands on the footy and creating some damage.
We're back in the middle. Young Sue's gone to man up Noah Walsh. That's a good batch up for him. Sue went with the ball, couldn't quite take it. Sham was bumped by Palprat. Umpire said he might have been bumped a little bit high. Free kick goes to Shan in the middle of the QEO. Not much going on ahead of the footy, so he's forced to chip it short to Clossy. Clossy takes the mark. Not much doing here as Clossy can emerge on the right. He then sends it towards centre half forward, but floating back and getting in front, couldn't quite take the mark there was Hosking. Spills to ground. Cleared out of there by Tanner Nally. His kick goes wide. Wharton stood underneath it and took a strong mark. He knew contact was coming, but he was able to hold the ball, and he marks across half back, Joel Wharton.
Pretty good this afternoon, Joel, don't you think? I reckon Joel Wharton at Bendigo City Frame has a $100 Best On Ground award. The voucher, he's already won it once this season, has he not, if I recall right?
That was Alex Wharton.
Alex Wharton
he played twos earlier today.
Well, we might give it to his brother, the way he's going, but the football is on right half back for Hallinan of the Storm. He goes.
I reckon that Joel won one of our very early games this year too.
Yeah, we had him up here.
Yeah.
To Shannon Geary. Shannon Geary, a floating ball. It just managed to fall in the breadbasket of Charles. Charles now, need to be careful here, give away 50 here free. He won't. Charles now. Zach Charles. Smothered kick. That was always going to happen. He ran straight into like a metre in front of him and then just bang, kicked it into him.
And doesn't Nick Stagg come to let him know about it as well. Right in front of our broadcast position. Couldn't ask for a better spot to call the footy from here at the QEO. Throw in. Hosking slipped over. Sexton won it down, but straight to Clossy. Clossy then sends a nice-looking kick inside forward 50. Coming out, trying to take the lead. Couldn't quite take the mark there was Harvey. Spills out wide. Now the Storm through Murphy. Murphy goes goalwards. It's going to go right to the line. Sheehan tried to mark it in the square, and he just couldn't quite bring it down. Good defensive pressure from Nally. Minus score, 7-7-49, playing the Storm 4-6-30.
Play on from fullback now will be right. Jesus, a long ball. Goes swimming pool side. Kerno was the target. See your players around this footy. It's in dispute. Who wants it most? Tardrew picked up a ball, then lost it. Gordon picked it up for the Storm, then turned it over and gave it straight to Keating of the Dragons. A hurried, awkward-looking ball forward that tumbles towards the line and 70 from home. Sandhurst attack in front of the swimming pool change. Hey?
So it might have been an insufficient temp one again.
It might have been, but it just you need to get over it, Cam. Actually, the Bendigo Footy League have openly said, and Country Footy have said, that they're not going to pay it to the same extent as the AFL, so it doesn't surprise me at all. I know it's a bugbear of yours.
Wow, one set of rules for one competition. Why not have the same set of rules for all competitions?
That's another argument. I didn't disagree with that, but they have openly said that that's the way they're going to go.
Storm free kick across half back. They'll clear the kick out wide. Mulqueeney's got time, let it bounce, and then got the run from Hallinan. Hallinan's little dinky looking kick forward finds its way into the hands of Hugh Behrens. So Behrens will then chip into the middle of the ground and find Gill. Gill's got the bright orange boots on. Centre wing. He then chips even shorter into the middle and finds a teammate for the Storm. Right in the middle of the ground here. It's in the hands of Jackson Lay. Jackson Lay then wheels a nice looking ball in the direction of Sue. Got up, couldn't quite hit the mark. Fist from behind came from right. Spilt to ground. Clearing kick out, Cooper Smith. Firing it wide. Will it stay in play? The Storm have got the numbers if it does. Shannon Murphy tracks it over the boundary line, which is probably not a bad result if you're Sandhurst on the centre wing pull side.
Hallinan been very good for the Storm too down at fullback today. Doesn't look like
he
a
has
traditional
done it.
fullback, but done a really good job.
And we called for Malik Gordon to play up the ground a bit more, and he has been in this quarter.
Umpire will throw it in. Sexton doing the ruck work in. Hosking. Shannon Geary tried to make a path and couldn't. Support was offered by Mulqueeney, who sends it into the forward pocket looking for Harvey. Ruff just got over the footy and Harvey gave him a bit of a bump, and now Harvey's in the box seat. But they all just tumble after the footy. Sheen emerges with the footy and then just puts a little short ball.
Oh, what a
hurried kick out of the pack.
Sheen.
Came from Sheen. There's two Sheens out there. That was Caleb. Went goalward. Puts it through for a minor score. 49 playing 31. 12 minutes gone, third term.
So Dragons waste no time bringing the ball back into play. Mark taken by Wharton. So Wharton has it. Can chip into the middle of the ground. He goes looking for Tarju. Gill came in to put the defensive pressure on. Turned over. Murphy to Gill. Gill's little dribbling ball along the ground worked out okay. Now the Storm through Jackson Lay. Tried to go to Clossy. Handball smothered. Spills to ground. They all dive on top of it. Clossy then firing through. The umpire lets it play. It works out for Sandhurst. The Joel Wharton, who just goes kicking for territory. But it's all Storm back there. Geary has to turn around. He was about to get mowed down by Green. It turned over the kick to Hood. Hood to Stagg. Stagg from 50. He loads up with a high ball inside forward 50. Green in a one-on-one with Hallinan. Hallinan forced it to ground. Green at ground level was clean. Handball to Maxted. Maxted's taken by Gill. He just got boot to ball. Going in for a second effort will be Hallinan. He's dumped in the tackle. Umpire says we'll ball it up inside forward 50. Good contest inside forward 50.
Strength and experience from Shannon Geary too, isn't it? It's normal player would get caught in that contest, but he didn't.
Eagle Hawk only lead Maryborough by 33 points. And I say that with the greatest of respect, but does that say more about Maryborough or Eagle Hawk's attitude? Because usually by about this time we have a look at cricket scores when it comes to Maryborough. So it'd be interesting to get a match report from that game as a ball has just rushed through for a minor score. So Sandhurst now go to 7-8-50. Strathfieldsaye 4-7-31. We've gone 14 minutes third term. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
I had a message from a long-time Eagle Hawk supporter at half-time, and it said it's the worst game he's ever watched. And he hasn't missed an Eagle Hawk game in a long period of time. So not great signs if you're an Eagle Hawk supporter heading into finals, because it looks like they will play finals this year. Sue's got it across half-back. He'll then clear the kick up the line. In fact, it's Sheehan, he bangs it down the line. Charles will come for the fly. Spilled off hands. Connick. Gill. Clossy picked it up, went looking for Blandford. Blandford wanted it to be a little bit better in front of him, and it goes out of bounds for a boundary throw in. True centre wing position.
Might be tougher conditions there than they are here. Also down at Gisborne, they'll win that game now. 45 playing 24, and you reckon it'd be pretty tough down at the Graveyard as the ball's on the centre wing here. Broadcast side, Sexton doing the ruck work for the Dragons. Offering support is Connick. Picks it up and puts an awkward looking left. It went up the chimney and Blandford takes a pretty easy chest mark. Right in front of the grandstand, which is a decent crowd in here considering the conditions. He'll go long. Malik Gordon's got 3-on-1. Malik Gordon was right out of the contest. They might go through Sheen, a little tap towards Harvey. Harvey a fresh air. He probably held without the footy. Umpire let it go. Noah Walsh handballed it straight to the opposition in Behrens and puts him in the box seat to put it to the top of the square. He put it to Mulqueeney. He couldn't get it. Carraher now whistle on play. Free kick.
Oh, that's a bit harsh. Both players
Sandhurst.
wrestling.
Yeah, Sandhurst free kick. What happened, Norm?
Both players wrestling, and the umpire picks one free out against the other. They both had hold of each other's jumpers.
Yeah, you're probably happy to see that one be play on, I reckon, when they've both got hold of that. But Isaac Ruff was the beneficiary there. Chips it underneath the scoreboard. Mark taken. Keating will go down the poolside wing, and his kick floats out of bounds on the full. I float the question to you. If finals footy was starting and Castlemaine and Eagle Hawk were in there, who would be more likely to win a final on current form? You'd probably have to say Castlemaine on current form, but they're going to miss by the sounds.
I'm the wrong bloke to ask, but I reckon you know the answer, Cam. Because we've seen a little bit of Castlemaine, and they are improving week after week after week.
And Eagle Hawk are probably going the other way on this season in 2024 at this stage.
Ever since Eagle Hawk, they beat somebody really prominent. Who
Yeah,
was
they
that?
smashed Strathfieldsaye by 10 goals
out there,
about a
wasn't
month
it?
ago. Yeah,
and then since then it's been nothing.
Yeah. I lost to Castlemaine the following week, backed up after that 10-goal win. Keating clears the ball out of defence back here at the QO off hands. But you're right, they looked extremely, extremely good that game. We did that game. They won by 10 goals. And since then, it's just been rather flat from Eagle Hawk. And Castlemaine have been going all right. But Castlemaine are going to go down to Gisborne today as the ball gets thrown into the side forward 50. And, well, I guess the season does go across the full 18 weeks. So can't say they don't deserve it. As McLean bangs it out of there, it'll be taken away by Wilkinson, who's got space. He can have one bounce and then have a second. Then he just bounced it, didn't come up, then decided to try and sock it off the ground. Had to go back and handball over to Lockie Wright. Jay saw the funny side of that one. Wright sends it inside forward 50. Got a bad bounce. They have to raffle this one off. Surely Sandhurst. They're just mucking around with it inside forward 50. It comes out. Maxted handballs off. McLean will then send a high ball right to the goal square. Wharton comes in from the side. Couldn't quite take it. Storm will just bang that one out of defence, but Isaac Carraher parks himself underneath it. 55 out from home. Carraher's kicks an absolute shocker inside forward 50 off the side of the boot. Storm turn it over. Handball came. Turning into a bit of a messy style of footy here as it works out to Wright. Wright gave it off to Walsh. Free kick pulled out, going the way of the Dragons. It's going to be going to Jack Keating.
Keating now with the footy. He's almost standing in the centre. Far too much of a kick to kick a goal from there. He'll go into the pocket. I don't like it when they go. They kick it to the hot spot where you're putting pressure on the opposition, particularly here at the QEO. There's a coach coming at him in there, Jason, but can you offer me a suggestion why? We'll come back to that. Now they go to the hot spot there, and Fergus Green dropped a mark he ordinarily would have taken, and it's going to be a stoppage and ball up. But why wouldn't you go to the hot spot there?
It depends on what your numbers are. So reading the numbers, they had extra numbers, Strathfieldsaye, in that hotspot zone.
So up they go in the ruck. Curnow swoops on a footy and puts it around the body. It's not going to make the distance. They need to kill it over the line here at the Storm.
It through for out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
And behind gets them the footy back, but now Sanders can lock it inside forward 50.
They can. 50 playing 31. This term sponsored by Rural and Outdoors Castlemaine. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Throw in. Curnow in the ruck, carried the back of those. It's going to be taken by Walsh, who will get collected high. No free kick given. Umpire might have been blindsided, and he's pinned him for holding the ball.
I believe Walsh buckled at the knees. That's why he copped the high tackle, and the umpire let it go.
Well, the Sandhurst faithful mightn't agree with Norm Jenkin. That's the voice of Norm Jenkin on special comments. And it'll be a free kick going the way of Sheehan. Sheehan's kick was not that great for Blandford, but Blandford made it look a bit better than it was. Got it to Harvey. Harvey went through. Not sure he disposed of that one well. Walsh then took it. Storm worked the ball forward. Tackling pressure comes from Stagg. And we'll have a ball up. Not saying you were wrong, Norm, but I just think that based on the crowd reaction, they didn't agree with you.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, but the way I saw it, he buckled at the knees. That's why he got the high tackle.
Certainly is a contentious rule when players drop their knees. See it a lot in the AFL nowadays, really trying to stamp that one out.
I felt you threw Norm right under the bus, Cam.
Hosking wins it down. No clean disposal. Gill spilling out. A mass pack of players around this one, Jason. The umpire's going to pull out a holding the ball free kick. Not sure how you can find a free kick out of all that, but that's what's happened. And it's going to be in the hands of Keating.
I thought it was going to Strath. He signalled the wrong way.
Well, that's what I saw as well. Glad that I didn't see it wrong as Keating goes into Green. Green drops the mark, but he's able to stay on his feet. Will then chip for goal from 15 metres out. And he's not having a good day at the office, is Fergus Green. He's got one, but a terrific job's been done on him by Mitchell Hallinan. It's 7-9-51, playing 4-7-31. 20 points the margin. 20 minutes gone in the third quarter.
As
Score sponsor Parsons Towing, Castlemaine.
As we enter time on in this third quarter, the Sandhurst would be happy with the way the ball's in contest all the time. Strath would want to get it out in the open and run it.
From the kick in from full-back, a number of possessions ultimately ended up with Riley Mulquinny still in his defensive zone. He'll dump it down the line, broadcast side to the wing. They'll set themselves. Good strong mark.
George Simpson.
Simpson, who come into the side this afternoon. And a free kick. They don't like it here, the crowd. It's going to go the way of the Storm. Might be young Charlie King coming to the side this afternoon as well. He's wearing the number 30 Guernsey. He was named in the number 7. As it goes inside forward 50, but rough for Dragons, mops up to Tardrew. Tardrew, an awkward-looking left. He just did it look with confidence. It got numbers. Connick, he put it on the left and put it out of bounds on the full and on the wing. Broadcast side in front of us. We're going to have a free kick that goes the way of the Storm.
Yes, it was an awkward kick, John, but Stagg almost made the most of it, just couldn't quite hold on to a chest mark.
So Blandford plays on the right. Will send it inside forward 50. Seuss, that's under it. Oh, big fly from behind. No mark taken. Spilt to ground. Stagg for the Dragons. Knocked it forward. Gill tried to trap it with his foot. Came out to Coughlin. Coughlin couldn't take it. Spills off hands. Berens goes through. Coughlin again. Gill again tried to go off the ground. Hood picked it up. He was taken in the tackle over the boundary line. It goes. We'll have a throw in right in front of our broadcast position. I'm keeping it because where it is on the ground here, Johnny. We'll go back up. Tananelli looks like he's going to be doing the ruck work for the Dragons at this stage. Haven't seen too much of him this afternoon. Got trapped behind, but it carried out. Hosking, nice handball. Blandford. Blandford's kick smothered by... Came back to him, though. It was smothered by Pelprat. Got it back inside forward 50, off hands. Turnover. McLean, clearing kick, should be out in front of Bryce Curnow.
Curnow, it'll be a one-on-one contest. Ratcliffe, they're lumbering after it, but they can...
kept bouncing and bouncing.
Well, they could see the boundary line was going to win.
I was waiting for it just to stop bouncing, and it just kept going further and further.
I'm amazed the ball bounces in that area. Matt Wilkinson's tried to bounce it twice in that spot and it didn't bounce either time.
No.
That's right. He didn't learn that from his first quarter effort.
It's ended up swimming pool side on the right half forward flank to the Barnard Street end. Up they'll go in the ruck. Tananelli doing the ruck work, which was a mismatch. Jake McLean, he got the footy for the Dragons. He sends it inside forward 50. Maxted a hurried left. He goes to the top of the square. It was a 2-on-2 contest, but Shannon Geary, he's been strong down there this afternoon in the back zone. He's probably a contender for the Bendigo City Framers $100 voucher award, which he's already won this season as well. So we'll start throwing up a few names as this game progresses. And it might be Abe Sheen out there that's taken a mark. Yes, it is. And he's on the outer side, swimming pool side wing, and he will have a kick. Or a handball, Cam?
No, it's going to be a kick from that position. Shan, he sends it down the line. Woke up this morning expecting he'd be playing in the midday game today. Get the call up late as a late inclusion. Kick goes over and out of bounds for a boundary throw in. This quarter sponsored by Rural and Outdoors Castlemaine and Central Kitchens Bendigo.
Yes, Sandhurst at present be happy with this stop-start football and keeping the ball under in contest and not have it out in the open.
4-7, playing 7-9, which means it's 20 points the margin. Sham went through. Tarju picked it up, was taken in the tackle.
Now,
that was the other Sheehan in Caleb. Free kick's
been unfortunate there. 3 players had hold of him. One had hold of his arm, and he was tackled immediately as he got the ball. It
so he was done for holding the ball, was it?
Yeah, holding the ball. It should be a ball up.
Well, I thought it was going to be a ball up, but either way, Sheen gets the ball. Free kick, Storm, bangs it inside forward 50. Gordon got the fly. Did he get the mark? No, he gave away a free kick in the process.
He nearly marked that on his chest. How can you give a free kick against a bloke that nearly takes a mark?
Is it Charles? Might have been Charles that got pinned for a push. I'm not sure. There was definitely the indication for a free kick for a push in the back, as it's a dangerous kick across half back. I agree with you there, Norm. As Caleb Connick marks, he'll chip short to Nelly, and the Dragons will get a bit of a reprieve out of defence. It's Tananelli, 60 out from goal. City end.
So Nelly,
grandstand side wing,
just holding the footy up. A little bit of a, well, not lazy, but laconic kick. Caleb Maxted jumped early and just had a lot of the footy, and then it just went out of bounds, and we'll have a ball in. Is this a bit of a lull before the Storm of the last quarter, Jason? How do you see it? I just feel like both sides have backed off a bit in these last couple of minutes.
I thought it went up a little bit before, but the last couple of minutes is certainly just a bit of a lull. So
Clossy emerged with the footy. He sends it up towards centre half forward, flying up. Couldn't take the mark there. Was Charlie King. Ball comes off hands and we'll have a ball up.
Yeah, the Storm needs to find something here pretty quickly. It was always going to go before that passage of play started again. They really need to get their hands on the footy and try and score before this quarter's out.
Back in the middle. Off hands. Came out from Walsh and the umpires pinned him for in fact it was Hood. What a 1-in-2 chance between Hood and Walsh, and I went the wrong one there. As a free kick going the way of the Storm for holding the ball.
Harvey.
Matt Harvey will send it inside forward 50. No mark taken for Storm because it'll be Isaac Carraher all on his own.
Getting all excited there, Cam, for a big last term.
Yeah, great inclusion back into the side today, Carraher. He's done an excellent job through all 3 quarters.
He has. He's earned his spot. You spread it wide to Coughlin, who's been relatively quiet. He had a 2-on-1 contest. Blandford did well, and so did Mel Quinney.
Blandford must have been copping something from the Sandhurst bench there. He certainly didn't like whatever he was being said. He gave the bit of the chirping action there, didn't he?
With the double-handed chirp action.
Don't see that very often.
The double-handed chirp action. I used to love that back in my day as well when I was a wicketkeeper, but well, that's another story. As Stagg tried to make a path and he just tried to do...
got him too high. That
50.
And I reckon, was it abuse?
Metres.
Did he cop a bit of abuse, you reckon? Because there couldn't have been any other reason why that'd be 50, Norm.
Well, I think the umpire saw Tardrew take the ball out of the Strath hands, and because it went to Tardrew and not to the bloke with the free kick, he gave 50 metres.
Now, Staggs at centre half forward, 65 from home. He'll look, of course, the target will be Green or Maxted. Maxted was the one. Green also in the area. They couldn't win it. Storm are hard up against the boundary line, and Harvey picks up the footing. He's strongly tackled. Good forward pressure by the Dragons to see a stoppage. Right on the boundary line, 50 from home, attacking to the Barnard Street end. It's a 20-point margin. We've gone 27 minutes. Third term, local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. This term brought to you by Central Kitchens Bendigo. They're our sponsor.
Palprak got it and sent it towards the top of the square. Kerno couldn't mark it. Spills off hands. Cleared out of there by Hallinan. Hallinan's kick will be sent out a task for Charlie King. He took it cleanly. Then he ran towards the boundary line, and I reckon he just got there before he was about to be tackled holding the ball. Bit of a professional free kick to get that one over the boundary line, I think, there, Jace.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Without giving away the free kick,
Without giving away a free kick, yeah, I think you're right.
Maryborough 14, Eagle Hawk 55, South Bendigo 18, Golden Square 98.
Throw in again, far wing. No one able to really get any clean possession out there. Connick came out from Tarju, kick inside forward 50. Kerno, can he get to the front of the pack? Spills off hands. And they just dive on top of it inside forward 50 and we'll have a ball. No, another holding the ball free kick. They've been hot as hot can be on that holding the ball free kick this quarter. Didn't see any of them paid in the first half, but there's been about 6 of them paid in this third quarter. And that gets us to 3-quarter time, and it's a quarter that the Dragons will be happy with. They've opened up a 20-point margin. 7-9-51, the Strathfieldsaye Storm, a 4-7-31. A big, big final quarter to come here at the QEO. And the Storm, they lead by 20 points as we go around the ground, waiting for the last couple of stragglers to get off the ground. It's a 20-point lead to the Dragons. Can the Storm fight back in this final quarter? Here's John Hunter.
They'll go in the ruck. It'll be Hosking versus Sexton. Coughlin tries to punch the ball forward for the Dragons. We're all tied up. Good strong tackling by Riley Mulquinny. And I've mentioned Mulquinny a bit, but there's 2 of them out there, so they're probably 50-50. Hosking wins the tap there for the Storm. He tapped it straight to Tardrew of the Dragons. Tardrew gave it to Wilkinson, who was sitting at half forward. A little left footer. Kerno's the target. Ratcliffe under pressure. Who will keep their feet? Stagg grabbed it, then went to ground, and they jump on top of him. 35 out from goal. Dragons attack. 20-point margin. Sandhurst lead. Under a minute here. Final term. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Side forward 50. Hosking bangs it out. Gill's going to clear the kick out of there for the Storm. Bounced up the line, no mark taken. Charging out was Berens. It's over the back. Sandhurst can come into the middle of the ground. They've got Island or Keating. If they talk between them, it should work out okay. Keating takes the mark. Island frees out into the space, which is where Keating's going to go. No, he decides to go even further forward. Rush kick inside forward 50. Shannon Geary thought Christmas had come early. Handballs to Gill. Gill handballs to Colossi. Colossi bangs it out, and they're out here the Storm. Malik Gordon is in an absolute paddock. Gordon gets it. He's got time to steady. Gordon chips in. Beautiful play, Strathfieldsaye. Gordon's kick was absolutely centimetre perfect, and charging out onto the lead is marked by George Simpson, who will line him up from 40 metres out, in line with that left-hand goalpost. Barnard Street end. He's going to waste no time as he comes in. Wouldn't this be the start the Storm were after? Simpson comes in and, well, he gives him a big boost and he puts it across the face. In fact, it's almost floated out of bounds on the full. Was the mark being paid? It was off hands and it's a Strathfieldsaye mark. Or are they going to throw it in? they're looking down there like no one's sure what's actually
The
happened here.
boundary umpire said it stayed in play, took all grabs inside.
So Sue has been claimed a mark. I thought for sure it had crossed the bell line, or the boundary line, I should say. But Silage Sue is going to be the beneficiary. Kept it alive. He comes around on the right and hits the post. Wouldn't have that been the start the Storm are after? 7-9-51, playing 4-8-32, 19 points the margin. Score sponsor, Rural Outdoors, Castlemaine.
Free will bring it in for the Dragons. Plays on from fullback. He's at the Barnard Street end. He'll send it broadcast side. Grandstand side here. Maxted was the target, come off hands. Sexton just tried to tap the ball in the direction of Tardrew. Coughlin offered support, then put it around the body, didn't look, and he kicked it straight to the opposition in Shannon Geary.
Geary takes the mark. I'm sure Noah Walsh moved a couple of metres there after the umpire told him to stand, but not doing. They chip into Ratcliffe in the middle of the ground. Coach of the under-18 side as well for Strathfieldsaye is Lockie Ratcliffe. He plays on, sends it up towards centre forward. Kerno got back in front. Sheehan came through to knock the ball to ground. Then Sheehan was good enough to be able to steal it. Then he was taken in Stagg's tackle, holding the ball.
Oh,
Great
pay him
tackling,
all the
Stagg.
time, ump.
Not happy with that one, Norm?
Oh, well, Sandhurst got away with it 3 times in the last quarter. All of a sudden, they just picked one out of midair.
So Maxted then chips forward, finds Wharton. Wharton will then chip it across and find its way to Tarju. 60 out from goal. Lockie Tarju going to slow things up as he looks for a target inside forward 50.
Tardrew now decides to go short and laterally and just inboard to Connick. It was a safe kick. He was standing there. Connick now, he goes inside forward 50, shallow. Fergus Green offered a lead. He juggled it. He hit it with confidence, but he hasn't been quite on his game this afternoon, but on that occasion, he did all that was required, and he's taken a chest mark, and this might increase his confidence, Jason.
It wasn't a pretty kick by Connick. It didn't look good off the foot, but it landed in the perfect spot.
I believe he pulled the kick right at the last minute and put it where Green could run onto it.
Yeah, it was really well weighted.
Because he was looking to go deep.
Even though it was a little bit of a fumble from Green, it was one of those kicks, he had no choice but to mark it. It was just in the right spot. It hit him in the bread basket and just bobbled, and he grabbed it. Now Fergus Green crosses the paint mark of 50. It fades late and just missed the goal. So he's not on 100% this afternoon. He'll increase the margin by 1. That takes him a 20-point margin. 4.5 gone final term. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Geary short pass to Matt Harvey. Matt Harvey back to Geary. Geary's kick was turned over. It's in the hands of the Dragons. Right, sends it inside forward 50. Was pushed as he kicked, which affected the kick, and it might have even gone out of bounds on the full. Free kick, Matt Harvey. So they'll get a reprieve here, the Storm, because it was a little bit ordinary looking out of defence. Underneath the scoreboard, Harvey sends the kick down the line. Wants to fly. They got one. Spills to the back of the pack, though. Off hands. Going through for the Storm will be Berens. They keep the ball alive. Turnover. The opposite 35, Coughlin ends up with it. Got it off. Dancing through the pressure was Walsh, and then he's mowed down in the tackle. Pinned holding the ball. Umpire Carter had to pay that one. Storm quickly play on. Matt Harvey emerges with the ball. He fires out the handball wide. They'll send it up towards the top of the 50, and it's straight to Liam Island, who marks uncontested across half-back.
Frustrated Norm Jenkin in the back stalls.
Well, they're playing good football, and then they go and just bomb it into the forward line.
In the qualifying final in the Heathcote District Football Netball League, 5 minutes remain in the last term. North Bendigo of 51 and Leachfield Gunbower of 43, so could be a close finish looming. Joel Wharton, he's standing at 50. The ball came down from the back half. Sandhurst a shot at goal. Well, in fact, Fergus Green is standing right on the goal line and popped it through for a goal, and that takes it to 8-10-58. To 4-8-32. Score sponsored Don Smallgoods is good. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. Jason Stevens, what happened then? Why was Fergus Green caught on the goal line?
Turnover. So the Strathfieldsaye defence is all the way up. Turnover bounces back fast the other way. So turnovers kill in modern footy. And I tell you what, Wharton made Fergus actually work for that.
He did, mate. He put it out in front of the
Do you
points
reckon
and
he was
not in
having a
front
shot
of the
for
goals.
goal, or was he trying to pass it to
I
him?
think he was in
Trying
two
to-
minds.
yeah.
I think it was a pass, but he was clearly in two minds what he was going to do. It was a pass, but he certainly made him work.
So big blow after the Storm had played some good footy in the last few moments. Back in the middle of the ground we go. Free kick, Sandhurst. Walsh got taken high, emerges with the kick, sends it inside forward 50. Green again got the sit, couldn't quite take the mark. It spills out the back. Curnow burrows in after it. Ball hits the bottom of the pack. No one able to emerge with it. Spills out. Hallinan, handball to Gill. And the experienced Lockie Gill clears our defence, and his kick floats up and finds its way into the hands of Berens.
That frustrated call you gave us before, Norm, that probably started it all as well. That's why they caused the turnover.
Oh, that's right. You bomb one
Was
side
that not a
bombs
mark?
into the forward line, and the other side used
Why
the
was that
ball
not
well.
a mark, Jace?
Obviously hit the ground. That's the only reason it
There was a bump ball on the outer side wing. I don't reckon. I had the binos on it, Cam, and that's what I reckon it was. As the ball goes now to half forward for the
I don't
Storm.
reckon it was a bump.
Carraher was at the back of the pack. Handball over the top, Stagg. Keating's running for him. They've got numbers. Tardrew over to Hood. Walsh, in fact, gives it there to McLean. McLean now to the hot spot. Sandhurst. This is where they've looked good in the last few minutes. As Sandhurst, just the Storm tied up. 30 from goal will have a ball up.
A little bit of niggle off the back of the ball too. Again, there's a Sandhurst player down behind the goat.
Yeah, he's down from the bump that was handed out by a Strath player in the last passage of play.
So Harvey's kick will be turned over. Tardew emerges with it. Tardew, well, he's gone goalwards, I reckon, and he's shanked it out of bounds on the full. Free kick, Strathfieldsaye. Shannon Geary will bring the ball back into play.
It's interesting if these two teams meet again with this chippy sort of game that we've got on. It's,
Yeah,
They meet again later in the year.
I still reckon that if Strathfieldsaye can get within 3 or 4 goals of this game, and you add Wilson, Jones, Lester, Ernst back into this Strathfieldsaye lineup, they'll be thinking they're a very good chance of beating them come finals time. But it's a couple of weeks away before we get to that yet. Still another round of footy to run after this one as they work it inside forward 50. It's picked up. Maxted sends it towards the top of the goal square. Might have gone over the boundary line before he kicked it back into play.
Sandhurst big guns haven't fired though, Jason, today.
They haven't.
They haven't fired really for the last 3
No.
or 4 weeks, though.
Probably bad news for Castlemaine, who face Sandhurst next week at the Camp Reserve. Castlemaine they've got a slight chance of making the finals if they can beat Sandhurst, but I reckon Sandhurst, some of their big guns won't be off the last game before the finals, as we're camped inside forward 50 now for Sandhurst. Hood getting involved, ball spills free, a lot of tackling and jumping in over the footy. Stagg getting involved.
Going to be holding the ball.
There he is. The umpire propped himself, Norm, didn't he?
He did, yep.
And it's a free kick to go to Sandhurst.
It's been extremely poorly umpired. Well, not poorly umpired, but extremely inconsistent. He's holding the balls today, I reckon, Jace.
Yeah, they have holding the balls and dropping the ball. They've been very inconsistent, and unfortunately, it takes a little bit out of the game.
Thanks, Jace.
You're not going to ring me into commentary about umpires, Cam. I'm just going to let that one completely go.
I'm happy with the...
Been around too
I'm
long
happy
to
with-
realise.
I understand, but it just seems to be very inconsistent today. I've seen 4 or 5 ones like that not get paid.
Yeah.
Nick Stagg now.
Not to bash umpires.
45-degree angle. I'm looking over his right shoulder, so I'll get a pretty good look at this footy. And it is a poor kick. Well, it looked all right just for a moment, but just faded to the left. Another minor score peppering here. 8:11:59 Sandhurst. 4:8:32 the Storm. 10 minutes gone, final term.
Geary quickly plays on, chips the short pass to Caleb Sheehan. Storm still think they're a chance in this game, and it's not over yet. Sheehan goes out wide to Featherby. He's been a little bit quieter for his lofty standards. Right in front of our broadcast position, 5 metres in from the boundary. Connick waiting for the umpire to signal play on it. Well, Connick ran forward. I'm with Connick on this one. I reckon I heard the umpire calling to play on then.
Not
Connick
until
went
after
through
he'd stepped.
Well, I reckon Connick was a bit hardly done by there. I thought I heard a play on call as well. So Blandford then kicks it forward. It comes off hands. It spills out the back. They'll send it inside forward 50 from Riley Mulquinny. Mulquinny's kick will go. Sue was down there. Sheehan, he was able to lurk. Handball off to Matt Harvey. Harvey just has to go for goal, and he went the short pass. Goalkeeper on the line. Easy intercept mark. Is it Nelly down there in the long sleeves? Harrison free.
Oh, sorry. Nelly's got the long sleeves, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I stand corrected, Cam. You were right and I was wrong. Geez, that hurts.
I hope someone's recording that.
They are recording. We've got Adam up there doing the camera work up there this afternoon, so he'll be spot on to it. First time I've been wrong since 1984. I thought Essendon were going to win the flag by 15 goals and they only won by 4. As the ball comes to the wing here now. Paul Pratt swoops on it for the Dragons. Joel Wharton, hurried kick, Connick. Connick now, an awkward looking right, outside of the boot, inside forward 50. McLean, he's got Curnow. Oh, Curno's got a player in green, lurking in the pocket, underneath the scoreboard. He taps it to advantage, then he'll come back in ball. Corridor, Wharton's the only man in position for the Dragons. They're under pressure here, the Storm. Can they work it out of there? Contested again, Maxted just shoveled it somehow to Stagg on the left, and a mark's being taken at the death, and it's that man, Shannon Geary, a candidate for our Sponsors Award, $100 voucher, Bendigo City Framers.
Yeah, we haven't given it to a losing team player yet this year, and I don't think that's going to happen today, but he's probably been one of their better players for sure. Lockie Gill. Oh, Gill's kick's an absolute shocker. He's invited Fergus Green, who knocked it away from Ratcliffe. Green then handballs back into the middle. Sexton gets it, emerges backwards, came out wide, flying shot at goal from Hood. And it's touched right on the last line of defence.
Just broke one of my coaching rules. He handballed it to the ruckman.
Yes.
8-12-60, 4-8-32, 12 minutes, 30 seconds gone in the fourth quarter. What are you saying? Don't give it to the ruckman?
Well, I know Nick Lang will be playing at Kerrang today, and he did a lot of ruck for me, and I know he won't hear this, so yes, I'm going to stay with that.
Fair
Don't
enough
handball
too.
to the ruckman.
Score sponsor is Don is good.
It's just reflecting. Maybe I'm struggling a little bit bringing up a grand final from 1984, but that's another
Well,
story.
you haven't had much to look at in the last 21 years.
As the ball's on left half back. Geez, I can't wait till tomorrow night as the footy is with the Storm. Can they build something through Malkinney? Dangerous kick into the corridor. They've got the numbers though. Sue spreads it wide. It will be a turnover now. Hurried kick. It goes inside by Maxted. I don't know if he looked then. He kicked it straight to Radcliffe. So a couple of errors going on here. Gill on the outer side for the Storm, and he's away and out.
Gill emerges with it. They'll send the kick up the line. Sandhurst come through and punch the ball over the boundary line for a boundary throw in.
Has been a very sloppy contest for two teams that are in the top three of the Bendigo Footy League. It's been a pretty sloppy contest.
Yeah, conditions haven't made it easy though today, Jace. There's still been a little bit of moisture out there right throughout the day, and the pressure from both sides has been up.
Throw in. Off hands, Carraher. Handball to Coughlin. Ever reliable James Coughlin. Sends it down the line, getting in front and taking the mark for the Storm will be Charlie King. He sends it inside forward 50. Shan Salu couldn't quite take the mark, comes off hands. Ruff went through with a bump, came off to Sligo Sue again, got it out, they shovel it forward. No one able to get the clean possession. Sue gets another crack at it. They all dive on top of him. Carraher comes through, picks up the footy. Handballs off to Nelly. Nelly clears the kick out. Comes up towards Curnow. Bounced away from him. Turnover Storm. Shannon Murphy now. His kick was okay for Gill. Gill made it work. Then he got his head collected by Curnow. Umpire said not doing. Chips it short to Matt Harvey. 55 out. Here's Matty Harvey.
Harvey, short passes, smothered. Sandhurst will rebound off half back now. They're just making some critical errors, and that's a critical error as well. So it's another turnover. It's kicked straight to the Storm. So this is Jackson Lay.
Turnover again.
In the middle it is. Sandhurst, they've got a chance to bring it back the other way. Hood, he'll go short. Powell Pratt, let it bounce. 51 metres out. 2-on-1. Managed to shovel to Joel Wharton. Joel Wharton handball over the top. Hood will run into space. He laboured a little bit. Then he'll come backwards. He go to Jake McLean. Took his eyes off the footy just momentarily. Coughlin offers support. Handball. This is a missing bit of play, but they might get away with a goal as Stagg goes goalward and misses. And probably that last kick summed up that whole bit of play. In fact, it wasn't Stagg, it was Noah Walsh that put it through for a minor score. Rural and Outdoors Castlemaine this quarter sponsored by Local Footy Lives at Fresh Bendigo, 61 playing 32.
Certainly hasn't been a game if you were a neutral spectator this afternoon. Short pass in for the Storm, finds Charlie King. King then just sends it down the line. Curnow in position 1A, but he lets it fall over the back. Nelly. Been good in the last quarter, Tanner Nelly, and then he's pinned holding the ball as well. So I'm not sure he had much of a pro opportunity there. But we won't go on to that topic again. Storm across true centre wing. We'll send it forward through Berens. Up the line it goes. Turnover Dragons. They'll emerge with the ball. They'll send it up towards Maxted at centre half forward, but the kick just favored Featherby. It takes an easy intercept mark. He'll wheel and quickly chase to Lockie Gill.
Been pretty good, Featherby as well. Gill, awkward kick to Clossy. Clossy now, he's in the middle of the QEO. Poor kick. Poor kick after poor kick, both sides here going on. I know it was wet and raining, Jason, but it's not muddy, is it?
No, it's not condition related now. This is, it's best mistakes.
Connick went to Joel Wharton short. Joel Wharton went short to Noah Walsh. And halfway between centre wing and right half forward, broadcast side, kick into the city end. He's got the footy. Now he goes. He goes long inside forward 50. It's only shallow. Maxted and Tardrew at the target. Spills to the back. Handball by Featherby. He finds his teammate in Murphy. They're sharing it around in the back half. Shannon Geary eventually ends up the footy right in front of us. And I've got no confidence in either side maintaining possession of the footy the way we're going, I'll tell you.
It's been a reasonably hard fought and hard run game today. Maybe a little bit of fatigue starting to drift in.
Geary then switches the kick across. Mark taken for the Storm. They'll clear it out wide through George Simpson. George Simpson sends it out wide to Jackson Lay. Jackson Lay then sends it further down the line. Mark taken by Charlie King, who's been good in this last quarter. King's kick down the line, finds its teammate who was taken in the tackle straight away. Turnover, Nally, handball forward. Now the Dragons can go backwards to go forwards. And, well, that's got to be holding the ball.
High tackle.
Oh, Noah Walsh.
No, it's Wilkinson.
Oh, Wilkinson. Wow, that did look nothing high about that tackle from what I could see, but Maxted's going to get it 55 out from goal. The real stinger's really going out of this one at the moment. Maxted chips it wide to Harrison free, who marks it 60 from home, but that had to be holding the ball, didn't it? There wasn't any high tackle involved in that.
All right, let's get back to the footy. I'll tell you one thing, I'll be disappointed if the quality of the final is what we're seeing here this afternoon now. There's no excuses at the moment. Both teams just coughing up the footy.
It's very likely these two are going to meet on that first Saturday of finals, isn't it?
Short pass received, McLean. Short pass, Curnow, who makes a mark right on 50 with his foot to say this is where the mark is and I'm going to have a shot at goal, and he turns his back on play.
Did not look at anybody. He just marked it and walked away.
To answer your question, Cam, no. I think that Gisborne will play Strath first week of the finals.
Curnow, after all that, he spread wide to Connick. Now, they haven't gained any meterage and they've tightened up the angle, so that's probably not what they had intended, I think.
Probably wasted 30 seconds, though.
Yeah, that's what they're
Forgot
doing.
to take into consideration that Strathfieldsaye beat Gisborne last week, so that probably means you're right, actually. Sorry, Norm.
Yep, that's
Just
right. Sandhurst will finish top.
Well, Sandhurst, they play Castlemaine next week. Unless Castlemaine can cause the boil over, because Gisborne are playing Kangaroo Flat next week, it will most likely be Gisborne and Strath in that first final.
The short pass went to Jake McLean, who's standing hard up against the boundary line, too far home from home. He'll go hot spot. Tardrew hit the pack from behind pretty hard, but a good, strong contested mark for the Storm. And the young man that coming to the side, George Simpson, took a really strong contested mark. He goes short to Featherby. Featherby now beyond 50. They'll set themselves. It spills to the back of the pack. The smaller man in James was the target. Couldn't hit him up, and we'll have a ball up across half forward. Right in front of us, broadcast side, 61 playing 32. Dragons lead, almost 20 minutes gone. Final term. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Yeah, you should think that Sandhurst have done enough today as we enter time on.
Knocked forward by Curnow. Going through, Strathfieldsaye players caught with possession. Wow, the umpire just had 10 Sandhurst players around him screaming for holding the ball, so he was always going to pay that one. James Coughlin receives the free kick against his opposite 35 in Hugh Berens.
Just score update, I misread that. It was 5 minutes into the final term in the qualifying final, Heathcote. So it's North Bendigo 53, Leachville 45, 15 minutes gone.
Good game of footy in the Heathcote League. Of course, their final's kicking off. And they have another final tomorrow, Norm, Sunday footy.
They do at that, and that is the elimination final, Heathcote versus Colburn Abbott up at Leachville.
Keating's kick will be smothered over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in, so still plenty of footy to be played in the region. Should be a good game, that one as well. Of course, the penultimate round of Bendigo footy here this afternoon. Final round to come next week before we hit finals footy. And let's hope the weather's a little bit better for the finals than what we've had today. Coughlin went without the footy. It came out wide. Keating's handball was good, taken away by Cooper Smith. Into the pocket it goes. Pelprat to Tardrew. Tardrew's going to go goalwards. He bends it too much. Hallinan gets back to knock it away from Fergus Green, out of bounds for a boundary throw in.
Yeah, out of bounds. Good result for Sandhurst there. They keep the ball in their forward line and can continue to mount pressure on the Strath defence.
Umpire will throw it in deep in the forward zone. Actually, the umpire will come in 5 or 6 metres. So it's opened up the angle for whoever wins this ruck contest. Somebody will hit the contest hard from Sandhurst. They don't. See your players around the footy now. A little bit of volleyball going on. Tardru might have got a little bit of a shove. Stag jumping in on top of the pack as well.
The closest game Maryborough had in a while, wouldn't Johnny? 2-2-14 to Eaglehawk 9-17-71.
Yeah, we mentioned that,
Only
Cam.
50 points the margin.
It'd be good to get a match report from out there, what's happened. I'll try to give Eaglehawk the benefit of the doubt and suggest that it might be weather orientated, but...
Well, 9-17, so they've still had 20-something shots to 3.
Inside forward 50 now. Connick got his hands on the footy for the Dragons. Just loses his footing at the last moment. They need to be careful here, the Storm, or they'll cough it up. Wilkinson, a little give. Hurried getting involved also was Berens. Hurried kick out of the pack now. The Storm. It came through. Might have been Mulquinny again. But the kick is intercepted by Tananelli of the Dragons. And they'll send it deep inside forward 50 again, Cam.
22 and a half gone in the final term. Nally sends it up towards centre half forward, but it should have been taken. That mark in the end by Hosking, decided to knock it to ground. And as a result, it's going to be a turnover. Sent back inside by Connick. Connick's key into the pocket, and mark taken. Palprat hard up against the boundary. But again, Jace, where was the communication at time to try and mark the ball?
Yeah, there was no talk there.
We spoke about it earlier, but he had no one was in 5 metres of him.
Ruckman. The air's thinner the higher you get.
And the blood takes a lot longer to get
It does.
from the heart to the brain or the lungs.
I'm sure he'll be loving it when he listens back to this game as Palprat's kick comes in and stabs at it to the right hand side. You've got to remember this game is being broadcast live, and
It is.
everyone that watches back this game will hear what you just said. And
I was joking.
I, for one, will
Jason
say...
wasn't.
I wasn't joking.
No, he's a coach. He wasn't Joe.
Well-
Mine was in the name of good humour.
I think he had a good game, just to put it out there. Hosking.
I wasn't commenting about his game. He's played quite well. He's competed quite well, but
Just questions his heritage and his intelligence. And
it didn't go near heritage. It's just intelligence, maybe.
Waiting for the ball to be retrieved here.
well, everyone's taller than me, Jason, so I reckon they're all dumb. You know, I'm only 170.
Oh, yeah, it's all perspective, isn't it?
That's it.
Yes.
I'm always looking up.
The sting's certainly gone out of this game as we're gone 24 minutes into the last quarter.
Featherby emerges with it. He'll just bang it into the middle of the ground, but it'll go straight down the hands of Isaac Ruff. Always does a consistent job down back, does Isaac Ruff. Almost a unheralded player at times as he sends it up towards centre half forward. No mark taken. Featherby has had a bit of it in this last quarter. We'll get another ball up 50 metres out from goal.
25 minutes into the final term in the qualifying final at Heathcote. North Bendigo 53, Leachfield Gunbow 46.
Storm banged the ball forward. It gets out the back. Took an ordinary bounce, though, for Strath, which allowed Connick to come back through against Matt Harvey. Connick was then taken in the tackle. He tried to fend off the tackle. Umpire gives him the benefit of the doubt and says, I'll ball it up.
And young Connick's built his game up this year from where he started at the start of the year, and his pace is going to be a telling factor for Sandhurst come finals and a real dry day.
I do say sometimes he's awkward with his kicking, but he's actually pretty effective. It's just he's just got a little bit of a funny ball drop.
Yeah, we used to always say that about the Cracker boys, and the ball always went to where it was kicked. Went to a teammate.
We're on the wing now. Ruck work. They've been pretty good, both ruckman now. I'll make up a few brownie points as a hurried kick out of the pack comes towards us, towards the boundary line, and we'll have a ball in.
But once again today, like we saw a couple of weeks ago, poor old Maxted leads up for the football, but it hasn't been delivered to him very well today. He hasn't got it on a platter like he did earlier in the year.
Now the ball is thrown in front of us. Clossy will track the football. Staggers behind him. Ball spills to Sue. Little handball out. Was not quite effective to King. Causes a stoppage, and right smack bang in the middle of the QEO will have a ball up.
Full-time score in the Maryborough Footy League. It is Lexton 13-4 defeating Denali 11-4. So a 2-goal win to Lexton sees them finish in the top 4, and Denali be relegated to 5th in the MCDFNL finals.
It'll be Sandhurst now through Connick, who we just mentioned. Picks it up on half forward. That was clever. He had a little look out to the side, and he kicked it to Jake McLean, who was all by himself, who after the siren has a shot at goal that won't count. But he showed a little bit of awareness, Jason. Did you see that little look?
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, he's had a pretty good game, actually, Connick.
So, final score here, Sandhurst 8-14-62, 30-point winners over Strathfieldsaye 4-8-32. The final term was sponsored by Rural and Outdoors Castlemaine and Central Kitchens Bendigo. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo, and Connick I reckon he's a contender for our Bendigo City Framers $100 voucher Best On Ground Award. What are your